thing is, the problem with the podcasts, right, and the problem with podcasts in general, okay, is the same problem that I have when I play video games, all right? Which is that Italian over there is always causing me trouble. Proudhonian sense, I was completely radicalized by the game Dinkum, okay? Nothing will make you a radical anarcho-socialist, but my experience was this, okay? I played Plague Tale 2, and then I played Sonic Adventure 2, 2, tell me they made something since 2004. They haven't. Wind Waker was the last Zelda game, and it was the only good one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't, okay? I'm just so sick of this. Like, I'm sick of the blanket. I'm sick of the morgue. I'm sick of whatever's going on over there. Ethan, give me the thing.
No, Devin. How many more have to die for your ambitions?
As many as it takes. Hand it over.
Okay. Well, there's no going back now.
Move this. Here, Quentin, hold this.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, you've got the thing. Do the thing.
All right. I hope this works.
So Dinkum, I mean, it's clearly anarcho-socialist, and Kojima did make it.
Now that's more like it.
What have we done?
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. Nah, I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to the Production Value Podcast, where the set's not the same and quality actually matters.
Kind of.
But
Guys,
points still don't.
Points still don't.
Points still don't.
I don't mean to alarm anyone, but we're on a podcast set, guys.
Wow.
Look at this place.
It actually is decorated.
Did we
I
get
know.
here?
Yeah, I don't...
It worked.
It
you guys
involved a woman.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
we
the
have
difference.
producer
Yeah, that's-
Rachel with
Michael
us.
B, you look so different.
Wow, this is crazy.
Such an upgrade.
Michael B, you
My
look so much
lovely
prettier.
wife.
What happened?
My
His
lovely
balls
wife.
went back up into his
Oh,
gosh.
that solved it. Well, that's great.
That would fix
Yeah,
it.
really
yeah,
close
you-
to the opening with that inappropriate humor.
You
Yeah.
did the things.
Yep.
Yeah, I did the thing.
You did
You
the
did
thing.
I had the
thing.
thing. I did the thing.
Man. you
Everyone
can
who
believe
died, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
I
It was
Well-
worth
great.
it. Yeah.
I was about to say.
We even fixed Ethan.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe...
I can't believe
would've
that.
I'm good again.
He looks
Who
so
would
much
have
better.
thought
would've
that
thought?
the thing would have given you new clothes?
Yeah. thought.
Wild, right?
Worth
That
it.
is pretty strange. But
No, guys, it's been a long journey to get here.
It has.
Yeah. To get
to
Approximately
this room.
12 episodes.
Yep.
And then 3 more that didn't get released.
Yeah.
And also, we had to sacrifice Michael B on a slab.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and
well
we
worth
had
it.
to...
Pagan
It
ritual.
was worth it.
It was worth it.
Because look how nice it is.
I feel glad that
so
we
nice
did
of
it.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Color,
Yeah.
comfort, no more of smacking the microphone when you're trying to gesture.
I know.
Isn't that
can do
amazing?
So much
Yeah.
stuff.
It'll still happen.
It'll still
It will.
happen.
Just wait,
I'll
it'll
make it
still
happen.
happen.
Lots of things are
Yeah.
still going to happen.
I was about to
It's
say,
still gonna
you,
happen.
to be clear to the podcast viewer,
Yeah.
this podcast is not better in
No.
substance.
No.
No.
By
God,
any
no.
measure. It is
We're
only,
still
it is,
terrible.
It is
It's
only
just a
better
little
in
easier to
production
look
value.
at.
Yeah.
Well, slightly.
Slightly.
Because
Slightly.
we are
Our
taking
faces are still in shot.
we're taking
Yeah.
up most
So
of the
it's still
frame.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we filmed this just audio, but we were in the other room, and then the video was just this empty
Double
room,
wall.
This nice looking.
that
this
would be
nice
the
looking empty
best.
room.
Yeah.
If we
that
just
would be
found
the
some
best.
plushies and
Yeah,
set
yeah,
them
yeah.
in front of the
I
microphones,
love
that'd
it.
yeah, be a lot
That-
easier on the eyes.
that
Yeah,
might
it
be
would.
yeah.
For audio listeners, we are on a yellow and brick podcast set with our logo and shot. Should I do audio descriptions? Oh,
Yeah,
here's what we are gonna do, guys.
For you
I'm-
to sum up what just happened.
well, you know.
I did talk this week to somebody who just listens to the audio.
Yeah, I've actually met
Also,
several people
I don't
that
know
do.
if you've had this idea, son, but you know there are actually people who are visually impaired and they can't.
We
see
don't
it.
care about that.
Okay.
No,
If you
don't
can't
worry
see
about
me,
Oh,
don't
okay.
even bother.
Yeah, all right.
I'm kidding.
Listen,
I'm kidding.
blind people, I see you. I see your experience.
Dang,
and
just
I want
rub
you,
it in.
I want you to know that it's
Just
valid.
rub it in. Blind people, I see
I
you.
see you.
Can't-
You can't.
I
You
can't
can't.
relate. But well, that
Now,
was really helpful.
yeah,
even
all
though
of these things have changed. There's so much stuff that's changed.
Yeah.
But you know what hasn't changed? The news.
Man, I'm so glad we introduced ourselves with our voices, and it really hammers home how we sound exactly alike.
Exactly.
We really
Yeah.
don't.
Every one of us.
We just
Didn't help
don't.
at all.
It didn't help at all.
No.
They'll learn.
Guys, if you
Oh,
want to
their
support a
nuances.
podcast where everyone sounds the same and it's literally impossible to distinguish who we are,
Yeah.
please consider subscribing. Give us a like, give us a comment. We're tiny, we're itty bitty, and you got to water that plant with subscriber water.
And
That was
we-
better than last week.
That was
That was
better.
a good analogy.
That was better
better
than last week.
I didn't
And
like it still.
I would
but-
also like to add that because there's 4 of us and we
Yeah.
are incapable of agreeing on anything, we probably got your opinion too.
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
subscribed to a channel that
Right.
agrees with
We
you.
do offer a pretty wide range of opinions.
I think so. Yeah,
You know?
I think so.
I mostly represent the people who they stumbled upon this video
Mhm.
because for some reason the YouTube algorithm thought that they would want to watch this after watching a video of Martha Stewart teaching them how to cook a Christmas ham.
yeah, and then
You know?
gaming just somehow got
And they were
thrown
like,
in
"Oh,
there.
it's
yeah.
a gaming podcast."
They were watching shorts of the Golden Girls, and then
And
you
they
popped
said, that guy.
You're like, I know another diva you'd like.
Yeah, I know
4 of them.
that you're gonna love.
How is there not a Golden Girls video game?
Oh,
There's gotta
well,
be.
There's gotta
SNES
be.
or
There's
something.
got to
There's
be watched.
absolutely
It's
gotta
appearing
be.
on screen right now.
Incredible.
It's got to be.
I'm sure the tie-in
It's
game.
got to be. So,
Alright, the
guys,
news.
not a huge week for news, but I got some stuff.
I actually
You've
have,
got some
I
stuff.
have news. Can you believe that?
I'll kick it off with the lightest of news since it was last week. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D was released, and as someone who's played it a lot, fantastic.
And check
Looks
out the
really good.
unboxing.
Phenomenal. Yeah, check out the unboxing.
on our channel.
You'll be one of the 15 people who watched it.
Yeah.
It did not do
and
well.
at least 4 of that 15 are
Go
in this room.
Is me.
Comment
Yeah.
on that one because there's no one there, and we'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
That is a good
Make
point.
your
Go
comment
comment
count.
on any of our videos because there's no one on any of them, and we'll see all of
see it.
them.
Right.
Always get
Small
lonely,
YouTube
okay?
channel. Sure. Okay, so Dragon Quest, yeah, it's fantastic. Someone pointed out I haven't really played a lot of the HD 2D. You guys have.
Yeah.
He definitely hasn't.
Nope.
Never touched.
Definitely.
There is no. I
He doesn't play games in HD.
I do know. I know what Dragon Quest is.
You know what Dragon
Yeah.
Quest is. No,
I remember.
I haven't played a lot of HD 2D. Some people are saying that it's unique, this one, because it's got like completely, fully 3D environments. There's no...
not completely unique. Star Ocean was the first one I think to
Okay.
do it, but
Yeah.
it's a new. I think that's the only other one.
Yep.
And it looks great in Star Ocean, and it looked great in the trailers for Dragon Quest. I haven't gotten
Beautiful
it myself.
example of how you can take an old game, preserve all the things about it that made it old, and like, as we all know, old game, new game, old.
Wait.
Um,
Right.
Wait.
No.
Exactly, Devin.
Sir, excuse
Yeah.
me.
I think-
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Our producers confirmed that is in fact
It-
the right
Yeah,
quote.
she's,
there's
she's
a-
on it.
There's actually the fact checker. She's just determined.
I'd like
Yeah.
to point out that I'm supposed to be fact checking, and I have no way to do that.
Oh, that is
because
oh,
that's
yeah.
my phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
have no.
Oh, that's a good point. There's no way
whatsoever.
for you to look up like
Rachel
facts.
has
and
no
stuff.
way.
So
of
I'm
looking
just
it
gonna
up.
I'm just gonna Alex Jones it.
Yeah,
Oh,
just-
it makes
just
speak
it makes perfect,
really
yeah.
confidently, and my word is final. Okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's right.
You're gonna be
That's
over there with your
correct.
notepad. You're like,
Probably.
"Yep, I just did the Pythagorean theorem, and I've
Yeah.
concluded that Sonic the Hedgehog did
in
come
fact.
out
And
in
is bad.
2004."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You can just correct us on facts that are like common knowledge that we get wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
we're
absolutely.
like,
Be like,
Or
guys,
just I don't like it.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Pour
Perfect.
water on a grease fire. Fire goes out when water goes
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Right.
that's really interesting. I just looked on this page. It says you are wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
That's amazing.
weird. That
So
was a
just write
sourced
that.
article.
no,
So, okay.
it's good evidence because you could turn on like waypoints and like quest points, or you can just shut them off and like just roam the map.
That's cool.
And it still encourages like that old style of like just go out in the world and who knows what's there. And I think I think new players are going to have a fun time because you can toggle all of that on and off.
Mhm.
If you're having trouble, turn it on. It'll tell you it's that tower that looks the same as every other tower. Sorry. But you can shut it off if you want to really just explore. So Dragon Quest 3 last week.
I'm really glad that we're accommodating these whippersnappers who
I
have
know,
no resolve.
Yeah.
They have no strength of will.
No.
You know, they can't take that video games used to be pyramid, and now they're brutalism architecture. They can't take it.
They can't handle it. They
I
need
mean,
a little
let me tell you
glimpse
something,
of
gentlemen.
that.
Video games today
Mhm.
look like an apartment complex in Soviet Russia. Okay, there's a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
But you know
But no soul.
there's no soul.
Oh.
There's no soul.
Because that's in
No
Korea.
soul.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, no.
I see what you did
Hey.
No, I've got some news.
My
Go
dad
for your
jokes.
news.
I got some great news.
What's
this
the
is
great
such
news?
happy news, guys.
Oh.
This is wonderful.
Oh.
You know that there's this thing called the PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Have you heard about this thing called the PS5 Pro?
Almost
have,
every week.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's the only reason anyone's ever subbed. To
I think
this
that's the only
channel.
reason for this podcast.
It's the dark
Yeah.
one that comes
Let me
up.
tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up so that viewership will get boosted because people are still angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people who like video games, you know, who I like to call virgins. Crazy people.
If you name this
madmen.
podcast episode PS5 Pro Fire Sale, click now. It will be our Mac
It'll be
Best
our-
reviewed.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got wonderful news about the PS5 Pro.
Oh, cool.
What's the news?
It is so entirely a failure
Oh.
that scalpers are having to sell it at a loss.
Yeah,
Right.
I read
heard
that.
about
yeah.
that.
Isn't
I
that
heard about
wonderful?
I'm
That was
happy
gonna be
anytime
my news.
scalpers
Get their just
I-
desserts.
I'm so when I read that
Mhm.
news, I was so excited. I was just like, for two reasons. One, because I said a modern game console is failing, and I want to see that burn to the ground.
time.
Right.
That is the city I want to see burnt to the ground is video games. So that's first. And
Great to have you on the
I
video
know.
game podcast. Yeah.
so that's thing
That's
number
great.
one.
That's
Thing
great.
number
You're
two-
in the mecca of
We-
video
we
games.
really
right
need
now.
this to
I know,
work.
really.
Look at where you are right now.
No, yeah, I'm.
Your
you know,
Patreon money from the future relies on this industry.
Let me tell you something, gentlemen.
The economy's not getting better. We need
It's not
this
getting
to
better.
work.
Listen, gentlemen, you need someone who hates video games and in fact your hobby, because that way, what other video game podcast will get people who hate video games to watch it?
That's
Oh,
true.
that's true.
You see?
No one can
Fine.
say that
But,
it's
but
an echo
here's
chamber.
Here's the
No.
no, it's no echo chamber here.
Not
so
anymore.
here's
We're in
point
a
number
studio
two.
now.
Not only is it great that it's failing, it's great that scalpers are suffering.
Yeah,
Because
scalpers should.
That's
suffer.
what I'm really happy
I'm
about.
sorry, scalpers. In fact, I'm not. I'm not sorry.
Not sorry.
I hope your business
Faded.
fails. I hope your business fails.
It's
I hope
unethical.
you stop your evil ways. Your gold and your silver will testify against you.
And scene.
Yeah.
I have something to add to this. So that was going to be my point as well.
Mhm.
But I had another one on top of it about also with the PS5. But I can go into a little more detail about that. It's really funny. Sony apparently must have anticipated scalping because they said the first release was going to be limited, and then they made a second release almost immediately afterwards.
Oh, okay.
But here's the funny thing that goes to your point here, Quinn. Scalpers bought it early, tried to sell it. Sony comes out with just a second wave, which means the scalpers have to sell it for, you know, maybe $100 more,
Mhm.
maybe $100 less.
Maybe, yeah.
They're getting fleeced pretty hard. The Sony ones aren't selling either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So like
It's
Sony
beautiful.
just
it didn't work.
put
It's beautiful
all
to see.
yeah they put
Yeah.
all of these on the market, which hurts the scalpers who might have had a market if Sony didn't put more out there, because there wouldn't be any. The scalpers
Right.
would have the only ones for sale.
Exactly.
But now the scalpers are trying to sell theirs and can't, and Sony is selling theirs, which hurts the scalpers, but they also can't sell them. It's
Yeah.
very funny.
It is.
all the way
very
around.
funny.
At the same time, a bunch of reviewers have been doing this challenge where they hook a PlayStation and the Pro up to the same television, and they don't tell the person playing which one it is, and they try to play different
Sounds
games.
really good.
Yeah.
They can't figure it out. None of them have
Well,
guessed it right. They
no.
like the ones who guess it right, they're always just like, I thought it was this. So it's so bad that when IGN did their blind test, the guy got it wrong, couldn't figure it out. The first one looks better than the second one, and the first one is the original,
Yeah.
and the second one's the Pro. He guesses that the first one's the better one, and then I guess because it's IGN and he probably like can't like talk bad about a game without like maybe hurting a relationship with a developer, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to hedge around it, but he lands on maybe don't buy the PlayStation Pro, and then
avoid
like
it.
is like
What else are you supposed to say?
I
You're
don't-
telling me
Yeah.
IGN can't tell things about video games? That's
I know,
crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
You better stop making things up. I know you guys try to trick me, and that's the biggest trick of all. Can't believe you said that to me. Can't believe you said that to me.
It's
Yeah,
true.
sorry.
That's the biggest trick of all.
Yeah,
Incredible.
I know that ain't true.
Incredible.
No, I've seen people talking about how like the difference is literally just a few dropped frames here and there.
Well,
like
and
nothing
if
else.
you have a TV that supports VRR or
Mhm.
G-Sync as it's sometimes called, it's really hard to tell. When I started playing the game Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and right in the middle of my playthrough, I got a new TV that supported VRR. I turned the feature on my PlayStation, and even though I was playing in quality mode, which is 30 frames per second, it looked like it was doing 60.
Yeah.
And it's because VRR is such a great like smoothing technology.
Yeah.
It causes drop frames to be like super hard to notice. And I imagine that like if you're playing on a PS5 Pro and playing that game at 60, it might be kind of hard to tell after staring at it if you're not looking at them side by side.
Right.
Because of
what is
VRR.
okay, so one of the things they were saying in the IGN clip is they started to talk about AI enhanced models, like textures.
Oh, okay.
And it's not
the
AI
new
like
technology from Sony, the pisser.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
is that what it's called?
It's PSSR. So yeah.
Oh,
Are you
Pisser.
serious?
That
Yeah,
is-
PSSR.
Can you-
That's what it
that
is.
now
sounds
it's
so
actually
bad.
more
That's terrible.
It's actually more similar to
No, you're wait.
bad.
I'm sorry.
Their version of
Can we-
DLSS is PSSR.
I'm sorry. Let's just.
It's-
can we just
it's
pause
actually
a moment and,
almost
and
a-
talk about the fact?
Yeah.
That, do
Sony's
you
selling
all-
you a console. They're like, look, if you give me $700, I'm gonna make your games look better, and you know how? The pisser.
We're gonna piss on it.
I
Back to
resume.
the pisser.
Oh my god! I back. Yeah,
You had forgotten that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, I had. That is ladies.
Yeah.
That is something
It's
I would
glorious.
come up with it as a joke.
Let me-
where I'd say, yeah, Sony, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna give you worse graphics and they're gonna call it piss.
Let me
You
tell you
can't-
how they got to that name.
Oh, that's a
It's
joke.
almost a carbon copy of AMD's FSR technology, right?
Oh yeah.
If you want to see what PSSR looks like on PC, just use FSR in any
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
Hey,
Well.
they did co-develop pisser with AMD.
With AMD.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like co-develop. They Control V, Control C,
They put
Control V.
PlayStation in front
Yeah,
of it.
they
Yeah,
put
right.
they
Yeah.
replaced the F
right.
with
with
PlayStation.
PS.
They really thought that piss
And-
was a great addition
and they
to the
did
name.
not, and they
Yeah.
are Japanese, so they didn't speak
They didn't-
English
yeah.
and
They
didn't
didn't
realize
realize
that
that-
they
No.
just spelled pisser.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's why we have localization teams.
That
You know,
Sony
because,
doesn't use those.
because I can't blame
No.
a developer from a foreign country for not knowing the language. I can blame the developer's localization team
For not
who,
catching
who
it.
know what
Yeah.
the word
Yeah.
piss is and knows it's not something you want in your marketing unless
No.
you're a pervert.
it's like how the Nova they tried to sell
insane.
the Nova
Yeah.
in Mexico, which literally means no go.
Doesn't
Doesn't
go.
go.
Doesn't
Although to be
go.
fair, we've spent 5 minutes talking about the pisser.
That's
oh my
true.
Free
god,
advertising.
free
Yeah, it was
advertising for
marketing.
Sony.
You know what?
Tactic, yeah.
They're
That's it.
geniuses. Nintendo
Well-
called their console the Wii, and everybody goes, "Huh, that's a name for your Willy," and it sold like gangbusters.
not. I don't think
Wii
it
is also
yeah.
a
He's
word
not
for
wrong.
piss.
Yeah, Wii is a word for piss.
It is.
Is
yeah.
piss the
That's more
secret
Wii.
ingredient to making video games
No.
work?
Clearly
You know what?
No.
Let me just tell you this
We
right
are
now.
the Pissip Brothers podcast.
Rebranding. Let me just tell you.
Branding.
Scratch out power and just
and
write
just put
piss
piss.
with a Sharpie.
We're the Pisser Brothers podcast.
Please say that doesn't
A
make it into
million
the title of this
subscribers.
episode. We have a new
No.
set. Can we make it
We
really
really-
fresh?
Welcome to the
I'm gonna
Pisser
change it
Brothers.
to the Piss Brothers podcast just instead of Power Up
Oh,
Brothers
God.
and see if
Oh,
anyone
God.
notices.
Just see if
Uh,
anyone notices.
You know, is piss the secret ingredient to video game success? Is
Maybe.
what I've been saying for years because video games are a bigger market than ever,
this podcast
and things
is so
are
stupid.
Yeah, I
This
know.
podcast
We
is so
upgraded
stupid.
the set and nothing.
We
else.
need to upgrade the host.
We did.
Sorry. Yeah, we
you
need new
know,
hosts.
I
Get 'em
commented
in there.
on an early episode
Get
that
'em
you know
in
the
there.
podcast was pretty good, but you know it needed new hosts, a new set,
Yeah,
new microphones,
that was
a
your
new
first
camera.
comment.
And you
You
know
were
what? Let
right.
me
He
just
was
tell you
right.
something.
4 out of 5.
Stand by it.
He was right.
Nothing's
We're
changed.
close. We're
Does
almost
anybody
there.
else have
That
any
was
more
incredible.
news?
I do. I have a real big advantage of being able to set up the podcast.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Country has
It's
been
a real place.
It's a real place now. You can go visit it. Cranky Kong's there, and he looks amazing. He talks to you. I don't know who voices him. Anyways, back to what I'm trying to say. Donkey Kong Country is opening in Japan in December 5th, I believe.
We should
Correct
all
me,
Wait,
editor.
let me get this straight. So
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country, the game that came out 25 years ago, is finally coming out in Japan.
30 years ago.
That's news. 30 years ago.
Just celebrated its 30th anniversary this year.
insane.
And
back
will
in-
you still have to play
this
it
month.
on the Famicom?
No.
No, you
The
can
Super
you can play it
Famicom.
in real life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a
called
mine cart.
jumping in the gorilla enclosure and then just trying your luck.
Just throwing bananas.
That's called Harambe.
Oh
No, it's got like a
Rest in
bongo
peace.
mini game that you can play with 2 other players.
Mhm.
It's got they teased us with it. We didn't see a lot of it. It's got like a minecart roller coaster.
Okay.
With lots of
That sounds
Donkey
like
Kong
fun.
themes. It looks really cool.
Will I
That's-
die as many times on that roller coaster as I did
Yeah.
in Donkey Kong?
Will you be
Unless
launched
you
off
jump,
a rocket?
If you jump at the right times, you won't.
You will, in fact,
Well,
die.
yeah.
I'm gonna feel cheated if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Well-
I'm still alive at the end and
Right.
I didn't even
Yeah.
jump once.
Are there
Man.
crystal spikes everywhere? And if I duck and you don't, do we wipe
We
out
both
and
die.
fail?
Yeah.
Will Dixie
Yeah,
Kong
true.
be as hot in real life?
She's there, so
Please
you'll
stand
find
by.
out. You'll find out.
Well, that is
And when next year, when Florida's the Orlando Nintendo Land opens, it will just open with Mario Land and Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
So
wow.
The one
you know,
we
the
could
5
actually
people in-
make it
Yeah, and the
to.
5 people in this country who can afford to be there
Uh-huh,
will
right.
will all be there.
Well, I gotta say,
Back in 2013 or
Mhm.
2014, the year before they announced Nintendo Land, the website Zelda Dungeon did an April Fool's joke where they wrote this article about a Nintendo theme park where you could like break pots.
Yeah.
mhm.
And one of the editors accidentally hit print on it, go live, like 5 days before April 1st. And so everyone's freaking out. And they take it down. They issue this huge apology. I remember watching it because, like, I fell for it. It wasn't April 1st.
Yeah, right.
And
Obviously not that wild.
who's joking around in March?
5 days after they did that, like 5 days, Nintendo announced their official.
Wow.
And people
Man.
didn't. A lot of people didn't believe. A lot of Zelda
I still,
forums were
I
like,
still
"What's
don't
this?"
believe.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never seen it.
To summarize that news, Nintendo Land Japan is opening a new attraction, which is to say that Japan still gives you no reason to go visit it ever.
Good closer, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
perfect.
I guess
yeah.
there is one
Nice.
other one,
Go.
Oh,
but
got
you
some
might.
news?
This might get snippety snipped. Just depending.
We'll
on
see.
the
Let's hear the
So,
news.
an analyst who does market, who
Different
looks at
Keep going.
video game markets and mostly technology and electronics,
Mhm.
says that the Switch, it is possible that the Switch 2, the sequel to the successor of the Switch,
Mhm.
might be twice as expensive as the Nintendo Switch.
Mm.
And it is
Really?
because electronics are likely going to be hurt the most by the proposed U.S. embargo or tariffs.
The
tariffs, yeah.
Tariffs.
Oh.
So 100%
Could be.
tariff means that anything that comes from overseas is going to go up by 100% minimum,
Hmm.
if not more.
And the
Wow.
and the consumer pays that
So,
difference. So
PlayStation will most likely definitely have those hikes. Someone did point out that Nintendo makes a really good profit on the Switch, whereas most game companies don't
Yeah.
make a profit.
Right.
So technically, if they just want to keep moving software, they could make it digital. They could lower the price on it. They would still have to make it much more expensive. But it's possible that they wouldn't be okay with that big of a market loss for their investors, and they
Yeah.
would need to double the price on the Switch.
That would
to-
definitely suck because, like, right
Yeah, that would
now,
hurt.
yeah, the rumor right now for Switch 2 is $400. That's what everyone's saying, is that it's going to be $400.
Mhm.
And like a $399 price point would put them, I mean, in like
it's perfect.
a stellar spot.
Yeah.
Like they're still undercutting Sony and Microsoft, but a $600 price tag would be
Somebody
Insane.
did point out though that the most video game companies ship their products to Japan before they bring them to the States.
Yeah.
And because they are assembled in Japan, depending on what kind of tariff it is, it might not apply to them.
May
so
not. Yeah. So
we'll
here's
report
hoping.
more on that as
Here's
that
hoping.
situation develops.
So the analysis I had seen said that it was to target companies that were not national based. So if they weren't based in America, they would get targeted. So
Yeah.
Nintendo of America might be able to produce
Try to
Switches.
get out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that might help them
Maybe.
get around it.
Maybe
Possible.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, it's just
We'll
all
find. We'll
yeah,
find
it's
if we
odd.
have a Switch 2 on launch day. You'll
Yeah.
know that it worked out
Well,
somehow
the
because we can't
tariffs
afford
did not.
$800.
Well, I'll tell you, we don't know. It might be 2 times. It might be 4 times.
Mhm.
Might be even 6 or 7 or 8 times. as
Hang on,
expensive.
guys. He's winding up.
But one thing we don't know. We don't know.
Right.
But one thing we do know is Devin will buy it.
We're
He
going
will-
into debt, babe.
Yeah.
He will.
No, not
he
again.
will. He will sell the farm.
I will.
As it will.
I'll
as
sell
you-
this whole studio.
He will. He will.
to get one
Guys,
Switch.
he
this is
will
why we
s-
need the Patreon. This is why we started this podcast
Yeah,
now. We're
please
anticipating
subscribe.
having to pay more for video games in the future, and
Right.
the only way we can do that is with your help. Help
Yeah.
us play
Yes,
the video
I am
games you
going-
can't afford.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to buy video games with the Patreon money
Yeah.
that they keep.
You're legally required
Don't
to.
worry,
I'm
Quentin won't
Yeah.
see a cent
He
of
won't
your
see a cent.
Patreon.
I will
won't see
not
a
see
cent.
That's a
cent of-
guarantee.
That is a
We
guarantee.
promise. We guarantee
That's
it.
a guarantee.
Guys,
Okay,
that takes
that's
us.
the
That's the news, guys.
That's the
Good
news.
job
There's
on
a
the
lot of
news.
us.
We did it.
man.
There was a
And-
lot more than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought this was going to be a kind of a dud of a week for news, but it wasn't.
You know?
No.
You know what's next though? Does anybody know?
The topic of the week.
Oh my god!
So, today,
Great topic.
I'm
Quentin,
so
go.
glad that you got your
Moving
point
on.
out quick, buddy
Gosh,
boy.
you just ramble
We
forever.
were getting.
I want to
real
apologize
tired.
for the long run time.
Yeah.
Okay,
please.
So today I was getting some work done, and
Mhm.
I put on one of my favorite synthwave bands because I practice mental flexibility, so that I'm never old man yelling at cloud, but
like some people.
like you,
Right.
who practice mental inflexibility.
I actively am
Rigidity.
attempting.
But instead, as the world continues to change and art and culture continues to change, I get to continue to enjoy it because of my flexibility. And so
Sure.
I was listening to the synthwave album from a band I really enjoyed, Midnight, and as it was going through, one of their songs, I didn't get a chance to run over and check what it was, opens with a big like thing about like these old timey radio stations all doing like news broadcasts about the Nintendo Entertainment System being released in America,
Yeah.
and about how like parents are like worried
Upset
about it,
about
and,
it.
like,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
sweeping the nation and kids are good at it, right? And then it goes into the song, and so I started looking it up and found out that like they're very influenced by video game music,
Sure.
and it got me thinking about that as a question to pose to you guys about a kind of a two-sided question. You can kind of pick the side of the coin you want to talk about.
Okay.
Is there a place in culture
Mhm.
where the influence of games has like affected art that is not directly connected, that you think is really interesting or really good? And obviously you can also go with, is there a place where like it doesn't seem to be able to get through, or it seems to always do like there's some kind
Yeah.
of disconnect?
Hmm.
How is it affecting culture in interesting ways?
Let's
Video
let the guy
games-
who hates video games
Video games,
go
in
for
fact, do not affect culture in any interesting ways. There's not a single way in which a video game or the industry has improved society in the last 25 years.
it. Hmm.
However, the way that video games are interestingly influencing things is by making this podcast a reality. Because you chumps, guess what? You like video games, you play video games, so do they. I love them. I love them so much that we're having a podcast about video games. And
Right.
We're talking about it.
You mean you love us so much that you?
Huh?
that you
Oh
make
yeah,
the podcast.
yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
what you meant.
You didn't
yeah.
think I meant video games.
No,
we
of course
definitely
not.
didn't.
No.
I
Earthbound,
obviously knew it wasn't.
I Earthbound. We can't make that again.
No,
right?
we can't.
We can't do that.
Toby
one again.
Fox tried.
Yeah.
and failed. But that's a topic for another discussion.
Upsetting.
But the point is that, video games have been around for a long time, but this podcast has not. So video games are influencing this podcast, and I find this podcast interesting. That's an advertisement for the podcast.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe
on the podcast.
So that's my answer. That's what
I have a
good
different
way.
answer.
Well, one thing, because something is that I was thinking about as well is that that Kojima seems to have affected some areas. Like Jordan Peele has talked about how a lot of the horror from his his movies is inspired by Kojima games.
Yeah.
And so like it's
I got terrified when I played Death Stranding because I was like, this is so bad. Like I'm so scared.
It reminded you of real life too much.
I was like, I also have trouble walking.
I'll tack on to what you're saying is that Kojima has influenced things by creating real life because everything he says comes true and everything he says is bad and then things keep getting worse.
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
Now, Ty, you
have a different answer.
An actual answer. I was absolutely gonna make a joke about Hideo Kojima being responsible for creating private military companies and the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump.
We already got there. But no, it's an interesting question because there's I actually think there's very few avenues of art in the modern day that video games haven't influenced in some interesting ways. You talked about the Midnight. I feel like a lot of electronica bands pull heavily from video games. Daft Punk is one of my favorite bands in that space, and they're very like you listen to them and you're like, oh, immediately you hear video game you can see those influences in them. But even like movies and television, obviously a lot of modern movies, especially in the like science fiction areas and even in fantasy areas, are influenced by video games that kind of, and the reason for all of this is that the people now making that art grew up playing video games, and we espouse the things that we did as a child. The things that influenced us as a child, we put into our work, so they can't not be influenced by those.
I definitely think that the way that I've seen video games, I'm going to go from the angle where I'm surprised it hasn't influenced, is in, I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised, but like the influence video games have had on Hollywood is not what I would have expected, and in my opinion is not what any of us want.
No.
Like,
no.
It's purely from like a pop culture standpoint. Like, I realized it when I was watching the Mario movie. It's really it's one of the few times where the creator of a video game was able to have so much influence on the actual product to where the movie is, a lot of people who went and watched it talked about how sort of odd, like they're like, it's so quick and like it doesn't linger, it doesn't sit around on anything. They're like, it feels like you blink and the movie's over. And that's a lot of like a video game designer talking about like just engage the audience the whole time. He's not like, we need a moment where Mario contemplates his existence and if he's really living up to his father's dreams. It's just like, there's like a line where like, we're like, oh yeah, these are my boys, and like,
and none of us caught the first one because there was an R-wing in the background when he's first ruminating about it. None of us knew.
Which if you put an R-wing somewhere, we won't know what else is going on.
Not know.
The four of us, we won't know.
You can't make Star Fox 64 again.
No.
I spent the last week neglecting all responsibilities, going to the grocery store, talking to friends and family over Star Fox Command.
Ooh.
So that's how much an R-wing
you've made worse
can
decisions,
but that's how much an R-wing can distract me.
You.
All right,
but
fair.
It is
it's
striking.
strange that movie was the first one to do it, and it's only because Miyamoto was so heavily involved. It's weird that like whenever Hollywood jumps into a movie, they're convinced that like we need to use it as an aesthetic and nothing else. Like it just needs to be a movie. Like just make it a movie. And then, we'll call it Prince of Persia, but like, should we get a guy who looks kind of Persian or can like play the prince from the Jake Gyllenhaal's available?
What's really funny is that the creator of that video game was the director of that movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Bad
but
job, Jordan, whatever his name is.
But this is my thing on your point, is that I think a problem I have with almost every video game movie that comes out is that it's essentially they put every one of those video games in some kind of piping bag, and then they try to spread that on the cake of a very boring movie, and they go, hey guys, look, Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog,
right?
Peak of Chew, right? All those guys, right? All those guys.
Yeah.
And don't worry, the movie inside this cake is cardboard, right?
Right.
It ends up being some kind of weird, screwed up IKEA display of a cake, right? That, what? Every time I try to eat it, I end up getting cardboard stuck in my lower intestines. Okay? Because what is...
This has happened to you. I'm ascertaining.
What are... when I think of how Hollywood has handled it, it's how Hollywood has handled everything else, which is that they are...
That's why I'm like, I shouldn't really be surprised, but at the same time, it is weird.
If you follow like Adam Conover, watch any of his stuff about it, his explanations of it is that like Hollywood was always insulated, and it's just become more and more. Like you have, if being a writer, you're having to work like 2 extra jobs, and it's almost impossible, and then it becomes next to impossible. The kind of people who become writers are people with like who are young and have unfathomable amounts of money, and they're kind of insulated as well, and so video like culture just isn't filtering through it the same way it used to.
No. I like what one jazz artist said. He was talking about like when new jazz artists come out, they were asking what it meant to him, like when people say they learned a lot from him, and he said, I learned a lot from them. He was like, art shouldn't be a baton that you hand on to the next generation. We should all be learning more. So if you act like the next generation's coming up with something and you don't really want to be a part of it, they'll just keep going and leave you behind. Be like, he was great, I'm just going to do what he did in my own style. So like, it's funny how so many movies influenced video games. Metal Gear Solid was super inspired by
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. Couldn't be from Escape from LA, but Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. I mean, and just pop culture in general, like the music of Deep Purple influenced the way Mario music was constructed. But it's funny how, like, I will say the music scene has been better to video games, acknowledging and like trying to blend with them instead of acting like they don't want to be a part of them. But I do feel like Hollywood is acting like, no, we're movies. That's video games. Like, we made that and it's not us. And I think they're getting left behind. I think no one goes to the movies anymore, and video games are like, I think it's a bigger industry than movies now, isn't it?
I think ever since the pandemic, there was kind of a big shift towards video games.
Yeah, because you can play them at home.
It's funny because I can't, like, if I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's hard for me to think of a movie where I sat and had like a really profound experience at in the last 5 years, maybe more.
For me, it's probably like The Boy and the Heron.
The Boy and the Heron. I said I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron yet.
It's very moving. It's very, very moving.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it's, I mean, it's,
but that's got to be one of the most traditional movies ever.
But but it's kind of that thing where it's like, the really interesting parts of culture are often where art takes a lot of risks, and movies have gotten to the point where they can't just make like a movie. They have to make the movie. It has to be giant, and they spend all the money on it, right? And they don't want to take any risks on stuff like that.
Right.
So they wind up being like, well, we're going to do a video game movie. Well, we're just going to, like you said, Quinn, we're just going to like paste Sonic on top of this, but it needs to be set in the real world, because what if kids can't understand what a mushroom is in Mushroom Hill Zone? And it's like, no one cares. No one cares.
Right.
Mario, he just like jumps down a pipe. No one gives a crap. Like, it didn't matter.
Do you think kids were confused by Detective Pikachu?
Yeah.
Which is not set in the real world.
Detective Pikachu just was like, I've never played a Pokemon game and I had no problem following it. Like, this is easy. Like like no little kid would get confused by this. But because they're so risk adverse, they're like kind of what you're saying. I agree, because like it's kind of like all these other industries.
I mean, TV
are
shows
learning.
are doing it fine. TV
Yeah.
shows are adapting video games
And-
these days fine. You got Arcane and
Heck,
Castlevania.
And that's-
Sabrina Carpenter mentioned Nintendo, so
I don't know.
This is the thing.
We're in,
Switch
baby.
it up like
I don't know.
Nintendo.
Yeah, we're in, baby. We're in.
the
I
other
don't know
thing-
who that is, but I
to go to-
appreciate. I hope she shouts out the podcast. Ty, would you like to go next, or
Yeah, I can go next.
'Cause
My topic is going to be isn't going to be nearly as rich as that one.
Or profound.
Yeah, no, because this is
What's your favorite Mario game?
what's your favorite? Yeah, what's your favorite? No, it is.
What's your second favorite power up?
I was thinking
yeah.
about as
Second favorite.
yeah. What's your second favorite power up? What's your least favorite? What I was thinking about this because winter is here. It is rapidly approaching.
It's not here. Yeah, it's a month away.
Rapidly approaching.
it's close?
And
It's
I'm
close.
already kind of denning. I'm already kind
Yeah.
of like, I don't want to go to the grocery store because it's cold outside. I'd rather stay here, and I wrap myself
Yeah.
in a blanket and just
Hibernate. Yeah.
tell
Yeah,
myself I'm burning calories, and so I find myself every winter getting a little bit nostalgic and going to like a comfort video game.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing that you play to feel that feeling of coziness and warmth as the seasonal affective disorder sets in, and so
Ty, we had a psychic moment, but we're you'll see once we can.
Yeah.
Once
Oh.
we get through your question, but
so what game is that? If you have such a game, what game is it? And if not, what's wrong with you?
What's funny is that like for me, I really love this time of year when new games come out, because it, like, especially a big game that I can like put a bunch of hours in, because I work a full-time job now and like have to just play games in smaller bursts. How about you buy the stuff for the pod? No, so like I love when like a game is much bigger and like has a lot. I think I wished too hard this year because
You broke
Mario
everything.
and Luigi Brothership came out of nowhere, and Dragon Quest came out a week later.
There's no way you finished Mario.
No,
Luigi
so I'm
yet.
set.
Yeah.
I'm set for the whole winter.
but what's your comfort game?
I was gonna say that wasn't the question.
That
No,
wasn't-
I'm
He's dodging the
he's-
question because he
hey,
can't think of the answer.
You just got fact checked.
Yeah.
I'm about to.
Michael B diverted us off
Well,
of the subject to distract us.
She's
Rachel
like,
got
that's
us on the
back on
track.
question.
Look,
She said-
Get it together.
I don't have an answer for the question. I have a concept of an answer, but I'm not
great.
answering
The
it.
concept of a plan. Okay,
No.
that's really gonna help us.
I
perfect.
honestly, I think that my biggest comfort game around this time of year
Yeah.
would be Mario Party, because
Yeah.
you can't go out and
I'm calling bullcrap on that.
Oh, she would know.
yeah. No, but I do love to play Mario Party. What is it then, producer Rachel? with
Okay.
all
Yeah. What
this?
is? Let's
Every
go
time
with
I'm
fact
Devin's
checking.
wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So
Let's hear the
every
inside scoop.
time Devin gets sad, I hear bum 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 ba-da-da-dum. I hear Mario 64,
Oh, true.
Peach's
yeah,
Castle.
true.
I hear you
Yeah.
puttering around Bob-on Battlefield.
Wipe away my
I've
whole
seen-
answer. It's Mario
I was just about to say.
But is
I've
that a
seen him
winter
beat
time
Bob on
thing?
Battlefield maybe 20 times, and it's always because Devin's feeling sad,
he
and he needs his
I don't want
comfort.
my wife
I was gonna
giving
say,
away my secret.
I think
I'm
that
so
you
happy.
may want to rethink this whole producer
I know,
wife
yeah.
thing.
I love
I
this.
on the other
No,
hand,
she's right.
we get equal votes in this podcast, and I vote she stays.
Yeah.
And I vote she keeps making Devin uncomfortable.
Shoot,
That's my vote.
calling me out. Thank
Okay.
you. No,
Am I wrong?
No, the thing I'll
Okay.
say is like Mario 64 is my comfort game, but is that enough for you? Because it's not just the wintertime.
No, but
No,
you asked
it's
about
not. It's
comfort
not
games.
specifically wintertime.
Oh,
I just
okay.
find myself in wintertime
Wanting
being
comfort
drawn,
games.
So
Yeah.
let's just whoop, whoop,
seeking
whoop, whoop, whoop.
comfort.
Mario 64. No, Rachel's right all the time about everything. No, like there's no way for me to be in a bad mood if I'm playing Mario 64.
Yeah.
Like I will always be in a good mood. I challenge anyone. You've never done everything in the game. If you think you've done everything in the game because a little counter went up and now it says 99 or 120, you haven't done everything in the game. So like that's just very comforting. I like the Nintendo games in general, especially the Miyamoto director era. He describes his games as being, and to some extent, he's taught this philosophy to everyone, like Mr. Koizumi, Aonuma, and they still do it. I'm not saying they don't, but especially it's like the essence is really condensed with Miyamoto. The concept of a miniature garden. There's a Japanese word that I think they're called, a YouTuber that I put right here. He did a video on that's great, where he talks about the concept of basically the Japanese have these types of like small, like miniature gardens that they design, and they're not just like I think it directly translates to garden in a box. It's not just putting dirt in a box and like plants. It's an art of like crafting it so that everything looks purposeful, but also like it could be a natural formation.
It's almost like a terrarium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost like a terrarium. And so like there's a coziness to that. Like if you've ever watched YouTube videos of miniature art, they're just cozy because everything's right in its right place. There's nothing. It's a lot like this podcast set. Everything right where it's supposed to be.
Except for us, because
Except
we
for
shouldn't be in
us,
frame.
we shouldn't be here.
We shouldn't be in frame.
Cut to Rachel.
It looks too nice in here.
No, yeah. So Mario 64 is my comfort. I can't be sad playing that game.
Yeah.
And if I am sad, I'll watch the Sherman Brothers documentary. Right?
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's about brothers who created something beautiful together but can't get along.
He was honest with that
you
answer
have some
because
Like us.
he realizes that Rachel would say,
I can't
We
not
have a
be
fact
anymore.
checker now.
I learned
Neither.
that. I learned that quick.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to
No.
be honest now on the podcast.
she may not have a way of looking things up for us, but she can call
She can
Devin
call me
out
out.
when
Yeah,
he.
all
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
crap.
about time.
Well, I'm gonna
Sheer
say.
experience.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the problem is
Go.
I have too many comfort games.
Oh.
It's so hard to pick because think about it like this,
So what's
gentlemen.
your most recent one?
Gentlemen, think about it like this.
Okay.
Right? If all the games you played are old games that you've already played, right?
They're all
You
comforting.
probably are playing them because they're games which bring you comfort.
And you're
that's a good
deeply
point.
inconsolable in
And,
life.
and so there's only, you play games because it's like, well, this is a comfortable activity. So,
Yeah.
So the first one I'm going to say is Boku no Natsuyasumi 2.
Oh.
What?
Boku no Natsuyasumi 2.
My summer vacation.
Oh.
Which
Alright.
is, all the series is really fun. I try to plug this for everybody. If you haven't played them, play those games. You can get, if you don't know any Japanese, you can get English language guides, and also there's a fan patch for the second game. So
There's also one on Switch right now, Shin-Chan. My summer vacation.
and also you can play Shin-Chan, and also you can play Attack of the Friday Monsters if you have a 3DS and you are willing to steal. And a time machine is
They don't have it's an online
The
store.
eShop.
yes,
gone.
yes. If you get the H shop or anything like that,
he mentioned the A shop.
any
They're gonna sue us.
freeware or you emulate it.
We did miss that in the news of that streamer that got
Streamer
sued.
getting sued.
Oh, we didn't
goodness.
miss it.
Yeah,
For a gigabillion dollars.
It's
we
too close
didn't-
to home.
We
Yeah.
don't want to cross that territory.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say if you want to
Devin
legally,
was considering streaming Brothership 2 weeks ago.
yeah. So I'll
I
say
noped out.
honestly, Boku no Natsuyasumi in general is a really good comfort game, but the
Yeah.
second one is very special. The other thing I'll mention is Earthbound,
Sure.
the
Okay.
actual Earthbound. That game's very
SNES,
cozy.
Earthbound.
Yes,
Do you,
I think
Do you do like Stardew Valley with a friend when it gets cold? Turn on
no
fireplace.
Stardew Valley.
He doesn't have friends.
That game's. I know. I wanted to ask because I feel like the game stresses you out.
No, I was
too
about to say
much.
Stardew Valley makes me want to throw a chair through a Walmart window.
Is it
right?
just
like
Stardew
the
Valley
gla-
or
Yeah.
Specifically
like a-
playing it with Cameron.
No, just in general. Like if
Yeah,
I
just
start
in
up Stardew
general.
Valley, within 1 week I will have 100% of the game and also gotten in a fight with one of my neighbors
Yeah.
with my fists
And also
lost.
somehow become
Okay.
homophobic.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
amazingly,
Amazingly.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
look.
know how
I
that's
look in the mirror
possible.
and I go, I hate you. I hate you so
Incredible.
much. So no, Stardew Valley is not a comfort game, but Harvest Moon, It's a Wonderful Life is absolutely
Oh,
a
man.
comfort game.
Yeah.
See,
That's
this is
one
what I'm
of
talking
mine.
about. If I could go through so many, so listing just one is really difficult because it's like even okay, Star Fox Command is a comfort game, and Star Fox Command is, if you've played it, you know what it is. You know exactly what Star Fox Command
Actually,
is.
Harvest Moon might
Uh,
be one, if I look back through my play history, that I only play in the wintertime. I don't know why.
It's a very
It's a very
I feel like it's
cozy
a very
log cabin.
cozy Right.
log
Yeah.
cabin kind of game. Games make
But
you
it's-
feel warm.
Yeah.
Is what a
but
is what a cozy
you
game
know,
is.
but my point with Star Fox Command is that I don't know if there's another person on the planet that would consider Star Fox Command a comfort game. But I played it so much as
I feel
a kid.
very on edge playing that game.
I did. I mean, as a child, I was just like obsessed. I had to get every ending, and
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
would literally get every ending and then play it again.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was so crazy for Star Fox. Right. So the lists are too many, but those are a few that come to mind
That's
off
good.
the top of my head.
What game comforts you, Ethan?
So, there are 2 arcade games I go to when I just want to like de-stress, and that's Risk of Rain Returns and Cadence of Hyrule. I find both those games very like de-stressing. I just
Wait.
like
You understand that you're saying unstressing, correct? And you don't mean that these games cause you
Are
more
distressing.
distress, because de-stress is to become distressed.
I'm using a different.
I think that's distress.
Dis-
No,
Distress,
but,
yeah.
but
Distress.
so you're saying
I'm
D
de-stressing.
hyphenated
Yeah,
stress.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. I'm
see,
using it
I
to
was getting
de-stress.
confused. I was like, wait a
Please
minute.
continue.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
also
sorry.
use it to distress others.
You were saying de-stress.
You said de-stress,
I
and
look
he
at-
became distressed.
I
I
look
would
at
agree.
any one of my executive function dysfunction brothers and friends
Yeah.
and go, "Hey, you want to play this game with me?" And they go, and they run
Say
away.
no.
And they get distressed.
Yeah,
I don't
Um,
have executive dysfunction, right?
You've never played a game I've recommended ever. You have.
Well, I have
executive
No, I
hyperfixation,
am
which
not.
is
You
the
have
actual,
played some games,
and I have
recommended.
played some games.
Yeah,
you've
you
played,
won't
stop.
and I hate them, but I've played them. So you know.
But no, neither of those are my winter comfort game.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are
We
set
can-
in.
we're
and
still
they're like,
on
mine is
winter
weird.
comfort
Mine
We
is-
again, this is
This is a comfort game, but
This
it's
is a comfort
it's
game.
real sad though. You guys don't want to know.
That's okay. That's
I and it might have been usurped
okay.
by better times. It might have been usurped by Enshrouded because I really like survival crafters in the winter. Like you talk about coziness. Enshrouded now has a winter map on it. That was the last update. Haven't gotten there yet. Very excited. Going to be doing that over the winter. But in the winter, sometimes when like no one's doing anything social and I'm not seeing as many people, I go and I start a new world in Valheim.
Yeah, that's a great
And
one.
Yeah, Valheim's great.
It's fantastic, but there's no one to play it with anymore.
I'll play
Like,
it with you.
No one in my group plays it.
You didn't.
anymore.
You've never asked
So
me.
there
it
is
has been a while
just-
since you asked me to play Valheim.
that's because you make me install 700 games a month.
By the way, I found a great new game
No,
on
you didn't.
Steam. No, I didn't.
I don't
didn't.
think we ever played Void Crew together.
We did. No, I
No.
installed it. No, we
I don't even know
we
what
played
that is.
Tribes of Midgard
$12.
twice.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
was
what that
really
is.
fun.
And then
That was
I
special how we
installed
shared
something
that
else and we
moment.
played it, and I don't remember even what that was. And then I installed Void Crew and still haven't played it.
Yeah, I don't know any of these games.
No, but I play
heard
Valheim for a couple different reasons. I like to just be a little lonely and wander around to
Yeah.
great music
Okay.
Yeah.
and build a little cabin. I don't do a lot of the other stuff. I just chop trees down and
Yeah.
build a little cabin. And then after a while, when it gets really, really lonely, I leave my little cabin and I get in a boat. And I just sail around until I'm done with it. And it's a very strange little experience because for me, Valheim fell off pretty hard because the developers are, I don't know, maybe they moved on to manufacturing cereal. Maybe they took up whittling.
Maybe they've been crocheting us a nice sweater, but they definitely ain't making a video game
No,
anymore.
they're not doing that anymore.
And
no.
the modders that finished that
Why
game
would they?
6 months after it came out. The
I know.
modders had put everything into the game, and it was better. Most of it, except for Mistlands, the modded versions of Mistlands wasn't as good. It's still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it kind of fell off because of that, but it's still a very trippy experience. I don't think I've ever played a video game like Valheim.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird game. The graphics are weird. The like atmosphere to it is weird. Controls and combat
It's
are
like
weird.
a PS2 game in its graphics, but then like also with like
yeah.
HDR effects.
It's
and
very
physics and stuff.
compelling.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of very compelling things in it.
Mhm.
There's basically no story, but there's a lot of just visually compelling things, and then just the general flow of how every environment feels so radically different. It's like it's like a bunch of different games stuffed into each other, and it also just has this really haunting music to it. And so whenever it gets cold outside, and I just want to like build a little fire somewhere.
Yeah.
I play Valheim. Now that might have been usurped by Enshrouded. Enshrouded is so good.
Yeah.
And Enshrouded is not it has phenomenal music that is also a little haunting, but
Different tone to the game.
very
Pretty-
different tone.
pretty different,
so we'll
yeah.
see. Well, I haven't been to the ice zone yet.
Sure.
So like if I go to the ice zone
Sure.
and it is all of those things, it
It'll
might
usurp the cozy.
it might kind of usurp this yearly tradition of picking up Valheim for a month.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ty, what's your cozy game?
I don't have one, but those are some good suggestions.
Okay,
no, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
Maybe you can pick some of ours.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
going to take
enjoy
some of
those
yours.
comfort
No,
games.
Valheim it's interesting because I specifically do load up Valheim about once a year, and but I'm always in the winter zone. I'm always in the mountains because those are so
Yeah.
those are so.
I've never
like,
even made it
cozy.
there. Isn't that crazy?
It's fantastic.
All the time.
Because you never beat video games.
yeah.
You never beat it.
I really
You
don't.
commit
You
to
know,
it.
you never. You
Um,
can't.
I beat Metroid Dread.
But my game.
Wow.
that
That's really nice. How long did it take for you to beat Metroid Dread?
Move on.
Beat
And
on
did you
Dread mode.
and did you beat Dread mode?
Moving on.
The
Okay, moving on.
the
You said you weren't going to fact check.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Right.
I was told there would not be fact checking.
Yes.
it's the only reason he agreed to appear.
Yeah.
For me, I get real nostalgic, and I go and I play A Link to the Past
Oh, that's a
about
nice
every
one.
year, and
Mhm.
I think the reason for it more than anything is that like when I first played the game, it was winter.
Mm-hmm.
And I have these strong memories of just being really bundled up and exploring
Yeah.
around Hyrule, and so something about the game just feels very warm and inviting. It has a really soft color palette too, and I think that's a really good for like a relaxing, soothing game. It's not too difficult, but it's difficult enough that you're paying attention. So I play through that. It's not my only one. I play through a lot of games that I like played as a kid.
Yeah.
Weirdly, one of them is the Super Nintendo Jurassic Park game. I played
You
through
did
that.
play
Which
that
one?
a lot, yeah.
Wait, which one?
The first one on Super Nintendo.
Okay, you're not talking about the Chaos
The like
Continues.
no,
No,
the
I'm
top
not.
down.
Because I was about to say,
adventure game.
if the Chaos Continues was your comfort
It's so
game,
stressful.
I would say that you need to go to a mental
That
hospital
game
right
is
now.
so
Yeah,
that is
And
You
that
need to take a
is-
tranquilizer.
And
That's
frankly,
Yeah,
the
no,
original
I-
Jurassic Park is a little on the stressful side. I usually start it, get up to the first 3D section,
I
and
know.
then kind of know.
Which
down.
because those are pretty stressful.
Um,
The 3D sections in that first game.
they're kind of
Though,
stressful.
like, I'm just gonna
it's like
say this-
Doom if
A
you
good-
couldn't move.
Right.
Well, like,
Yeah.
one-
I'm gonna just say
yeah.
real quick. If you had said the Chaos Continues, I would have loaded up my tranquilizer gun with lithium and sent you on
Yeah.
your way because
That-
that is
you'd be down
mentally
to the psych
disordered.
that
ward,
game is
yeah.
like Contra is my comfort game.
I love being stressed.
The funny thing is that a lot of games that I would put on this list, like Valheim or Red Dead Redemption 2, they're extremely they're games with strong vibes, which I think is really good for the soul. Is to when you're feeling a little bit down, not even down. I don't actually have seasonal affective disorder. I just like feel a little melancholy in the winter, right? Like I feel a little bit nostalgic. And
to go along exactly with what you said, when I said like I want to get a little bit lonely, that's because I don't get lonely in winter. Like I'm at my most
we spend
creative,
a
I'm
lot
at
of
my most
time-
happy. I
yeah.
love the cold. I put on a little heater. I'm doing great, but like
Yeah.
I like exploring that feeling of like, oh, I'm wandering through this like land by myself.
I think
I'll
winter
say
is a
too,
good time for nostalgia.
We're fortunate to live in an area that doesn't just shut down in the winter.
Mhm.
There's
Oh, yeah,
still a
absolutely.
lot going on around here.
Our low is
winter.
like 50.
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
It's like 40 degrees.
Well, and
at
even
night.
then, just
All of our
just-
subscribers in the north just started crying.
Yeah. They
I'm very
unsub.
sorry if you're in the north.
Okay.
But
yeah,
yeah, so
cozy games.
I like A Link to the Past. Those other games that I mentioned have the potential to startle me.
Mhm.
I'm playing Red Dead and I'm vibing, I'm fishing, and there's a cougar and it just ate my head.
Yeah, that's
Came
yeah.
out
that's
of
really,
nowhere.
mhm.
That doesn't happen in A Link to the Past.
No.
Very rarely am I
Yeah.
startled or surprised.
You
and
could get
so-
attacked by a cougar in real life while playing A Link to the
It's
Past,
happened
depending
more
on
times than you would think.
depending
No.
on
Yeah.
if you go with the Monster Hunter method.
Yeah, that's
you-
it. No, you
Yeah,
play
no.
Monster
I
Hunter.
was saying
Yeah.
you're sitting around the
to
campfire.
close out cozy
out-
games, I will say that Dragon Quest is like the most cozy game,
Mhm.
especially 11. If you haven't played Dragon Quest 11, it's the easiest one to get into. And like when you're adventuring around, your save stations are like little campsites that you set up with your party, and
Yeah.
it goes to night. I mean, like, yeah,
Octopath also.
yeah, Octopath Traveler.
Those are
yeah.
all very cozy.
All right.
Rachel,
Uh,
I'm gonna throw this. I want
oh.
I want you to answer this question.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
What
yeah.
do you feel cozy?
Cozy,
playing?
probably Animal Crossing.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my
that's a good
my
one.
go-to. Just like I'm bundled up, I got my coffee. Bailey, our dog, is sitting on my knees, and I'm just running around my
Island on your
island,
Switch, yeah.
terrorizing my villagers.
Right.
Good one.
Okay, yeah, that's
I'm
a
gonna
good
call
one.
you out.
Oh no!
Oh no, we have another fact checker.
Anytime Rachel's sad or depressed, I hear a bag of Doritos opening up.
It has nothing
She's
to do
playing
with
World
the
of-
game.
video
She's
game.
playing
I was
World
saying.
of Warcraft.
Yeah,
oh my
she's playing
god.
World of
I
Warcraft.
was
She's
saying-
playing Cool Spot. The
Yeah,
video
Devin,
Cool
I was gonna
Spot,
say,
the
Devin, you
video
can't
game.
tell me that the sound of the Doritos is not immediately followed by the
By Animalese.
The Animalese.
Yeah, no, it is.
Right,
It
no.
is.
Crunching.
That and Tetris, that's
Tetris.
That's a
Actually,
de-stress game.
I wish that
Tetris is less
stressful.
comforting and more like I'm trying to stave off an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
right.
actually just about to say
She's playing Tetris
I-
right now.
Right now.
So good.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go last, right? So
I don't want to go last.
you're
We
going
are
last.
going
That's
last,
okay.
yeah.
You can go last. Sonic the
Absolutely
Hedgehog.
not.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Michael Jackson. Robbie Dupree. Steal Away.
Okay.
It's
All right.
2004.
Moving on to my.
It's 2004, and you're playing tropical themed Vidya because guess what, gentlemen? It's winter, and Ty happened to ask a question almost identical to my own. And guess
Should've
what,
let me
buddy
go
boy? I'm not changing it. I'm gonna ask the same question because you can't win. You can't beat me. You can't get me down.
Can't
You
get
can
it,
knock me
yeah.
down. I get right back up. Okay.
What's your question?
Sonic the Hedgehog
Right.
was in a game called Sonic Adventure,
He was.
which is
Great game.
something that I've had actual nightmares about and have also played through to completion on more times than I can comfortably say, that I'm comfortably willing to admit.
Okay. Are you rounding
Final
to a point?
Fantasy, I believe, a little game called Final Fantasy 10? Is there a game called Final Fantasy 10?
Where
It depends on
this
your
is
definition
question
of when they stop
going?
making games.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Final
wait.
Fantasy 10 or X, however you want to say it.
Which happens to be both about sport ball
Right?
and also about tropical themes.
Quentin's
Wait a
actually
moment.
lost his mind.
Mario,
He's gone.
He's
Sunshine.
sundown in some fierce.
Yeah.
Mario Sunshine,
He's losing.
a game in which Super Mario, that game that was on the Super Nintendo and the original Nintendo, and
Right?
and the N64,
Mm-hmm.
that guy goes on vacation to a tropical
Bad
island. Now, tell me, gentlemen, when it's getting cold out,
Right?
and you want to play a comforting game. You don't. Yeah, I'm not changing my answer for you.
You mean question?
I'm not changing my question for you. What tropical themed game
Mhm.
do you love the most? And you have to have different answers. So you better pick. You gotta have different answers. And there's an additional aspect to this question because I didn't just bring up Michael Jackson and Robbie Dupree for no reason. Steal Away. Yacht Rock. I didn't bring up that for no reason, buddy boy. I brought that up because guess what? Sonic the Hedgehog, much of the music of the Adventure series is, and much of his early games are inspired by people like Michael Jackson, for example. And I think the yacht rock genre is, for the adventure games, pretty important. So I'm going to say, what is your tropical game choice and your tropical video games inspiring kind of music? Not from a video game, but just something that makes you think of a tropical video game, right?
Mine's pretty easy.
Oh, you don't get to go first. Somebody else is going to pick Mario Sunshine, and there's nothing you can do, and you'll have to pick another one.
What's your guys' pick? Ty, go first.
You gotta have a unique.
Mine's
I'm not allowed to go first. I was gonna go first. I can't go
game
first.
And a unique song to go along with it.
Oh well, mine is both. Mine is obviously the Dreamcast classic.
Oh,
Power Stone.
Wow,
Nobody saw that coming.
Tropical.
Not really.
Is that tropical?
Sonic Adventure is an incredible tropical game.
That's your. But do you play?
That's my tropics.
It's getting cold out, and you want to feel warm.
The funny thing is, I don't play. I play the games I mentioned are games that are very cold. I go to the cold area in Valheim because I can play out my real life in a game and parse my
I will say
thoughts
historically
and
of the four of us, I'm the one who loves the tropical themes. Not you guys. Not that you guys don't like them, but just that's my thing.
Right. I think though,
so I'm curious,
that if I was to pick a tropical game, it would probably be Dune.
Dune,
just in a desert.
The new Dune game.
I'll throw you one.
Classic.
Dune. The classic Dune game.
Okay.
Yeah, RTS.
Right. Oh yes, right.
That's the closest I.
I'll throw you a tropical game by just saying you and I played through it together.
Tropics. No, of course, Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
tropical freeze.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That is a great one.
That's actually the best pick.
Because that's actually a perfect.
I was struggling a little bit because I already.
We had so much fun playing that game.
And that is such a great. That
is incredible.
That is one of the.
That's such a core memory is watching Ty and Devin play through Tropical Freeze together.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong respectively.
That's such a good one because not only is it tropical, but also it has about the island freezing, and so
it's
great
actually
for winter.
Yeah.
Okay,
that was just as a brief side note. What was really cool about that was that growing up, you guys were the older ones.
We played everything.
They were so close that you guys. Most of my young life was watching you guys play 2-player games, but then just the stars aligned, and me and you were playing Tropical Freeze together. Have you even played through Tropical Freeze? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I also have played through Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
Alone.
Me and you played through some of it. What?
The two of you.
We played a little bit. I've actually played a little bit with Devin. I've played a little bit with Ty. I've played a little bit with you. Yeah. I've beaten it with none of you.
No.
You know what? But subscribe because maybe me and Devin will play through Tropical Freeze together.
That could be coming.
And Nintendo will murder us.
Could not be coming.
Okay, but hold on.
Do I get to go now?
No, you got to give me an accompanying song.
Oh, I got to.
Does it have to be from the game?
No, it in fact cannot be from the game because this is not.
Oh, I've got you.
This is not a soundtrack title. Yeah, I said Michael Jackson, Robbie Dupree, Steal Away, Yacht Rock. Do you recall?
Okay. Yeah, I do.
What is your tropical music of choice that makes you
any song?
Yeah, it just makes you feel like when you're playing a tropical themed game that you're thinking of some tropical music to go along with it.
Yeah, I think the song Kokomo by the Beach Boys.
You read my mind.
The ultimate
that's a good
tropical
one.
song.
That is a perfect tropical song. All right, now Ethan, you may go and pick Mario Sunshine so Devin can. You don't have to. Go ahead.
Devin fed me his backup game, so
I could pick Mario Sunshine.
You could
and make Devin pick something else, but Devin's not going to pick Mario Sunshine.
He's gonna be a wily little rat.
So
something else in mind.
So many.
But
he's gonna go with Star Tropics.
You can't guess. No one can.
Oh.
But you actually have seen it and you've played it.
Tropical themed game? Okay.
It's a tropical themed game.
Let's hear it.
And so few people would be able to guess this.
All right.
My tropical themed game is Green Hell. set
Oh,
in Brazil.
no, that's
technically in the tropics.
Oh, it is tropical.
I
It's in the
suppose that's
Amazon.
somewhat tropical.
Yeah, it's in the Amazon.
yeah.
It's tropics.
It's horrifying.
Guess you
but
could-
it is,
Yeah.
Usually when I think tropical, I think more like an island.
I know. I'm a sneaky snuck around.
But there's no police here. You can choose
You
what
can
it
do
There's
whatever
no
you want.
police in Brazil either.
honestly, if you looked at me and said, "No, I'm not picking a tropical theme game. Screw you," I would have just
Metal
said,
Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
No.
On an island.
Peace
I
Walker.
mean this.
Peace
kind
Walker
of
all takes place in the
closer.
tropics.
It's
No, here's
South
the thing. I
America,
kind
but-
of mean it. No, I actually do mean it sincerely. I really like this idea. Like, there's lots of survival crafters where you're in a forest. There's lots of survival crafters where you're in Europe, right?
Sure.
Trying to
But
survive
Green
the
Hell
French.
is, yeah.
But in Green
specifically.
Hell, it really does feel like you're out there kind of in, if you get in the right like mindset, it's kind of like you're Indiana Jones in it through like there's like a crocodile comes out of nowhere, right?
You just punch it.
And it's
Cayman.
it is got this like, it just like warms me up. Just like I like it. I like how well it represents survival in those kind of climates. There's food everywhere, but you could die instantly.
Yeah,
There-
from eating
there-
it.
And somebody forgot to not mute their phone.
Was it me?
And it wasn't Ethan this time.
Are you sure you don't want to talk to potential spam?
I'm thinking about it.
Our best subscriber.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Yeah.
the
Our
Russian
biggest
bots,
supporter.
the
Yeah,
Russian
man.
bots who subscribe to us
Yeah.
just called you.
So, but I'm also going to right around your question about music too,
You're gonna pivot again.
because while not all of the soundtrack is tropical,
And it's still not
it's
muted.
still not
I mean-
muted. It's you can mute it any second you feel like.
Any
You
moment.
didn't.
Any
Any moment. Okay.
I love listening to the Crystal Bearers soundtrack, and it has a tropical area.
I was hoping
where the Selkies all live.
I figured you were going to say the Crystal Bearers.
Yes.
I honestly thought that was going to be your video game answer.
Well, it had to be the music.
But
And
the
you said it could
music,
be the same.
in fact, I said could not be from a video game.
This could be from the same game.
Can't be from a video game.
It can be from a video game. Yeah, he did say
I
that.
said it needed
because he
to
mentioned
be-
Michael Jackson and somebody else, and yeah.
Somebody else. You just disrespect Robbie.
Please,
Dupree.
sir, let Ethan continue.
The problem is I don't listen to any music that's not from video games.
That is actually true.
say
I have seen,
Miserloo
I have
by
seen
Dick
your
Dale.
playlists. They
Actually,
are.
I'll throw you one. Miserloo by Dick Dale.
That's a good one.
That
like
is
that
a
song.
good tropical
But-
themed
but-
one, and that is Ethan's
but-
answer now.
I first heard that in Raving Rabbids.
Oh,
I would like to point out
Whoops.
that that is a crazy sentence. Now, Devin, it is time for your choice, and I'm afraid
Well-
that Mario Sunshine has been left wide open.
here's the thing. I'm gonna say,
But
you didn't take it far enough.
okay, of course.
I don't ever just play one tropical game. I play 3. So I'm gonna mention 3.
All right, let's hear it.
Super Mario Sunshine. Mario Sunshine almost broke my reality in the sense that on some level, I do think that maybe Mario Odyssey is my favorite video game of all time. I had so much fun playing it, and I spent 100 hours in it. But Mario 64 will always be the most important. And so a few years go by and 64 is my favorite again. But Rachel can attest to this. When the Mario 3D All-Stars came out, I was so excited. And I sat down and I started playing. I played a little bit of Mario 64 and then a little bit of Sunshine and then a little bit of Galaxy and then a little bit of Sunshine and then a little bit of Sunshine. I kept playing Mario Sunshine and I had genuine concern on my face. I was like, is this my favorite game ever made?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an existential dread moment.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
existential dread. Because it is my favorite aesthetic of any game.
It has
I want to live on Isle Delfino, and every second that I don't, I'm miserable.
everyone's complaints
Are you
about the
just
game
saying-
too, are all third act. The final leg of the game has some problems.
It's got some
but
rough edges, but it's
Man,
been
those-
so long now, and I grew up with it. I love the rough edges.
Yeah.
Don't
Also,
take them away.
I would just like to point out, video games have ruined your brain so much that you said, man, Isle Delfino, I wish I lived there, instead of saying, I wish I could move to
Bahamas.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
No,
or the
not
Bahamas.
Hawaii.
No.
Not Hawaii. Actually,
No.
I think Delfino is a little closer to Venice in architecture and area. So, excuse you, sir. No,
So you're still proving my point. You didn't say,
Put in
I
the
really wish I
place.
could move to
Please.
Venice.
Please.
He wants big
Fake
globby
Venice.
people
excuse me, sir.
to be there.
Yeah, right.
If Piantas don't live there,
What's the point?
what's the point? No, the other
Everyone didn't
tropical
like
the other tropical game that I like to play might shock you a bit is Donkey Kong 64.
Donkey Kong.
All
64.
set on an island. I love running around the island. It's a perfect game. It doesn't have too many collectibles.
Star Fox Adventures Tropics.
That's actually pretty close. No, but shockingly also
It is, but it's bad.
the original Kingdom Hearts.
I almost said the original Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts.
Destiny Island. Just that one little bit. The rest of the game's not very tropical, but that one little bit.
No.
Yeah, perfect.
And
My song.
your song.
You ready for this?
I'm ready for the song.
Pineapple Princess by Annette Funicello.
Oh,
Wow, that's a
deep cut.
The actual
that is
music.
a deep cut.
Yeah.
That and yeah,
Written
that's-
by Bob and Dick Sherman. Amazing.
of course.
Dick just recently passed away this year.
Rest in
So
peace.
rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Beautiful artist. Go listen to him. So there's there. Do you like that? I destroyed your
You-
answer.
Wait, for my
They both
musical,
struggled,
For my musical
and I
pick, can I
just-
switch it to the torture dance from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
tropical.
You can do that.
It's
Sure,
not
you can get-
a
as long as
video
it's not,
game.
as long as from not from.
Quentin,
video
what's
games,
your
you can-
favorite tropical
I'll tell you.
game and music?
I didn't take it far enough.
He didn't. I already said that.
Yeah, we already said that.
He was right that I didn't take it far enough. Because in fact, I'm going to say multiple games because starting off with Sonic Adventure, a game I hate and have played many times.
Wasn't that Ty's answer?
Let me tell you something
no,
about
Quentin said it couldn't be his answer.
Let me tell you something about
Because it was gonna be
Let me
his
tell you
answer.
something about Sonic Adventure.
Okay.
I find that opening area so cozy because I played it as a child, and then the initial effect wears off, and I am horrified to the point of vomiting.
Do you know?
Sorry, can I take that one more?
Go try it again. Try it again. And scene. He can't do it.
I'm sorry. I looked
There's
at
no
Ty.
way. No one look at him. We're all
look
like
at him.
looking away from him.
That's gonna
as
be
this
worse.
happens. Yeah, it's gonna be
That's gonna be
worse.
worse.
It'd be worse.
That opening level is so comfortable to me. That tropical environment is so nice. And then that effect immediately wears off. And I am so frightened to the point of vomiting.
You're just keep going. You can't make it.
I can't make it through
you
this.
Can't make it through that.
To the point of vomiting. I am so frightened to the point of vomiting. It is so horrific when I see those ladies sitting around the pool and they look like some kind of horrifying Chernobyl babies that somehow have survived long past what God willed for them. They then talk to you and speak normally, and then the realization that you're talking to human women and you are an anthropomorphic hedgehog who is also so disgusting. And if you play DX, he looks wet all the time.
He's covered in oil. Just
He's wet all the
constantly
time,
oily
and it's
and
frightening.
shiny.
And you wonder why he's oiled up. You haven't even gotten in the
He's
pool.
at the pool.
He hasn't even gotten in the pool, and he's wet.
Yeah,
He's wet the
all
whole
the
game.
time.
And he's wet the whole time, and
Why?
everyone's wet, and it's disgusting.
This is Trauma Dump, the podcast. We're gonna might edit this out.
If you
for
play
Quentin's
Sonic
mental
Generations,
health.
you can play that level with none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Now available
So-
on Nintendo Switch.
That is number one.
Okay.
Is Sonic Adventure. Now,
Okay.
please get him out of my sight. I'm gonna start crying.
Okay, sorry.
15 minutes of Sonic Adventure.
There he is.
You play 15 minutes of Sonic Adventure, you cry, you throw up, you go to bed. Okay.
I remember playing Sonic Adventure the first time. First time me and Devin played it was in a kiosk in a mall. Do you remember that
Yeah.
little thing? And we played it,
So wait.
and it was the opening part with Chaos. And when they just light him up and start shooting him, I looked at Devin like, what is
happening?
What is happening?
Yeah.
They just
yeah.
bust a cap and Knuckles.
No. I was about to say, no, the police
Oh,
treat Chaos.
man.
Chaos has done nothing at this point, and they treat him
No.
like an unarmed minority.
Yeah.
Like, it is absolutely a nightmare.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, he is.
Which, to be clear, that and other candid comments are in my 18-page, halfway finished review
Yeah, he
of
might.
Sonic Adventure.
You might publish it
Patreon
someday.
So
Yeah.
Patreon, subscribe, Patreon, Hideo Kojima. All right, get on the Patreon and also on the podcast.
It doesn't exist yet. Sorry.
That's game number one. Game number two, I'm afraid you already said Mario Sunshine.
I did.
And I'm keeping to the rule. I
took
won't.
it.
I won't take your game.
Don't you dare.
However, you made a wrong choice, buddy boy, because you didn't pick the Crystal Bearers. The Crystal Bearers is really, it's not tropical for that much of the game. However,
it's a big area.
It's a big area, and it's probably the most memorable area in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love the Selkies' little, like, I don't know what to call it. Like,
beach
their smuggler
yeah.
hideaway.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like that part of the game. I like that you have a costume change. The music there is so fun. That's a really great one. So I absolutely love that. And then number 3. You ready for this?
No.
Guess what number 3 is?
Never. Oh wait. Metal Gear Solid.
It's Metal Gear
3.
Solid. No, it's just Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, the original.
It's Metal Gear Solid, which is on an island. And
not tropical.
Strictly speaking, a nuclear waste dump.
Yeah.
it's off the coast of Alaska, I want to say, and it is frozen.
Yeah.
And it is not tropical.
No.
And I threw that one in.
You could have picked
as a curveball.
You could have picked 3, which is in the tropics.
Yeah.
It
3
is not in the
literally
tropics. It is in
jungle.
the middle of Russia.
Oh, that's true. The first part of it's in Vietnam, isn't it?
No, it is in the middle of Russia.
Never mind.
I could have picked Peace
know
Walker,
why.
which takes place
I
in
thought it
Nicaragua or Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Costa
The
Rica.
original Metal Gear takes place in.
The original Metal Gear takes place on a tropic island.
I don't
Yeah.
believe so. The original Metal Gear takes place in Africa.
Oh wait,
No,
Metal Gear
2 does.
No, Metal Gear 2 takes place in the central Russia.
Wait, no,
It
it's
takes place in
Zan-
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar land is in Russia.
No, Metal Gear Solid
Let's fact
4.
check this.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I believe.
I'm almost sure Outer Heaven is an island in the original Metal Gear.
I'm 100%
It
sure
might be.
that I
Zanzibar
don't
land is definitely in
care.
Russia, but that's
Quinn, what's your song?
my song. I already said, which is "Steal Away."
Oh, Steal Away by who?
Robbie Dupree.
Who's that? Is that Michael Jackson?
Oh my
Steal
God.
away.
Jackson 5.
Good question, Quinn. As always, it took forever, and we still don't really know what the question was.
As always,
No
it took
idea
forever,
what just
and it
happened.
was the same as one of our questions.
Is there any way we can get Robbie Dupree on here? He's still alive, right?
Let's
Get him on here.
I didn't even know he existed.
And Devin didn't know he existed because he's uncultured and he doesn't care about me or Yacht
Has
Rock.
he been in a video game? Does he live on Isle Delfino?
No, but he's inspired.
don't
I want
care.
you to just listen to Steal Away after this
don't
podcast
care.
so that you can just understand how.
listen to an 8-bit version of a
You-
Robbie Dupree song and tell me it's not a Sonic the Hedgehog.
Listen to it
Yeah.
in the Mario
Yeah.
64 sound.
the sound font.
Yeah.
No, if you listen to that song, you're immediately going to text me and say
Just
like,
be like,
"Oh
"It's
yeah, yeah,
Sonic,
okay,
yeah."
I see what you're talking about with
Yeah.
the Sonic Adventure connection."
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my
Absolutely.
pick.
All right, boys. Are you ready?
I'm not ready for your
Are
answers.
you ready?
And I'm not. I'm scared.
We're playing a game.
Oh my god,
oh, no.
a game.
Devin's gonna hand me a
We're
jar
playing
of
the
sand. and ask me-
classic.
Count the sand in it.
Definitely, I didn't steal this from any
One
other
of the-
YouTube channel. Don't look it up. We're
Oh.
playing More or Less GameCube Edition. Guys, welcome to More or Less.
This is
If you
More or
haven't seen
Less.
the game before, I'm going to ask the players numeric related questions. They try to guess what the number is. Then the other two players will guess whether they think that the number is more than their answer or less or spot on. It's basically a race to see who can get the most points. And I'll explain more about it when we get to one of the questions. Are you guys
So many
ready?
splinters in my hand right
You guys
now.
ready? We have signs, guys. Look, we have
Can
real
you believe?
signs.
Yeah, I was about to say we've played this game before.
The
and,
production value of this
It was
podcast.
so confusing.
Yeah.
The production value has gone up
Yeah.
so much that we
So
can now
much.
afford
We can
plank wood
afford-
and cardboard and printer paper.
This one was clearly used
Yeah.
to be a ruler.
And this one appears to have stick glue on
Well,
the
look,
front
we need
face.
to keep
and,
our we need to keep our our hometown roots. We can't
Yes.
we can't go full
that's-
corporate.
That was one of the things that someone told
Yeah.
me was the best part about the podcast.
Yeah,
Is that we all
we're
look
broke.
like we're homeless.
The Dirt Broke podcast. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
I am
Ethan's getting all the hard ones.
Lord.
I'm gonna cut this just to remind you guys. Remember, the point is not you're playing against the other players.
Oh, I thought we were
I
trying to
don't-
beat you to death.
I was gonna say, I don't know
no.
what do you mean by that?
No, I mean
Why-
as in like
You're not trying to guess the right number. You're trying to trick the others.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I also now.
Boom, we're back. All right, you guys ready? Okay, so now you have when you're asked the question, you have 10 seconds to answer. Okay, to just keep things rolling. We gotta keep moving and grooving.
We gotta
All
keep
right,
moving and grooving.
Ethan, we're gonna start with you.
Oh, dear Lord.
The GameCube, not the most popular console of all time. How many units did the GameCube sell worldwide? You have 10 seconds.
I think it sold in its total lifetime
Yep,
or like
total
first 4
lifetime.
years? I think it sold like
That's time.
80 million.
80 million? All right, Quentin and Ty, on boom, you're going to have to hold up more, less, or spot on. You ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. What'd you say, Quentin? He said less. Ty said less. You didn't split the group. So the way it works is that if you split the group, somebody's got to be wrong. So you automatically get a point. But now you only get a point if they're right. Or if they're wrong.
Oh,
I don't even know the
Devin
rules.
doesn't know
so
the game.
confusing.
Devin doesn't know.
Did I get a
Devin
point when
doesn't
you're
know it.
wrong?
You only get a point
Yeah.
if they're wrong.
Now, what if we get a point if you're wrong?
Ethan said 20, or Ethan said 80?
You don't even
80
know what he
Ethan
said.
Ethan
If I
said-
could guess the exact amount, can I have a point?
What?
If I guess the exact
No,
amount,
that is
before he
not
does
how
it,
this
can I have a
game.
point?
That is
No,
not how this
if,
game
if
works.
you guessed right, you get a point.
Well, I definitely guessed right.
Okay,
Because
Devin,
I think it's
you know what?
36.
Here's an
Anyways,
idea. Just
Ethan
ignore
said
this.
80 million. The correct answer is 21.74 million.
Yeah, I know,
Ty
it's
and
less
Quentin
than I thought.
got
Way-
it right. It
Yeah,
did not
real
do
bad.
well.
Yeah.
80 million would be a
That's
really
like
high
Wii U
selling console.
failures.
Not
It's
quite.
above the Wii U. Wii U was like 16.
Yeah.
So-
I know more people
pretty bad.
who bought this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Um,
more people than the Wii U sold. All right.
Yeah.
Rachel, can you keep track of the points for us?
Who has points?
Quentin and Ty have 1 point.
Okay.
So make their names up there for me, doll.
Okay, hang on.
That's harassment. You cannot call the producer of our podcast doll.
I saw
Well, I
him slap
did.
her butt earlier.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh my
HR's
gosh.
got to get
This
involved.
is sick.
So Ethan and Ty have a point.
No, Quentin and
No,
Ty
no,
have a
Quentin.
point.
No
Why
one
are we
know-
having you keep
no,
score?
Nobody even knows what's
That's a
going on
good
in this
question.
game.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
We're going to Ty.
Why?
You ready? The GameCube, if you didn't know this, had a little LAN adapter. You might not know that
I
because
bought
we
one.
never had one.
No, I bought one.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Never used it,
How
though.
many games supported the LAN adapter, Ty?
How many games supported? At
You have
least,
10 seconds.
Could I say at least one?
No, you have to say a number.
I'm gonna say it's only like 5.
5 is Ty's guess. All right, Ethan and Quentin. On boom. You ready with your answers? 3, 2, 1, boom. They both said more. You didn't split the group, Ty. I'm very, very sorry.
I'm
How do you feel about that?
ashamed.
Let us know a little bit. Ethan, why did you say more?
Because I was sure Quentin was going to say more, and we're playing against the other players here.
That's
I'm
smart.
trying to
Wow.
keep Ty
Well,
from getting a free point.
I appreciate your honest answer on that one.
That's a good
nice.
read because the reason you 3, 2, 1, boom is so you guys can't just collaborate like that. But you,
I
read
didn't
Quentin
read
and
anything
got
about it.
right.
I was just like, Quentin is going to assume that it's more than 5.
Yeah, Ethan's got it. He's playing the game.
He's playing the game.
He
playing
could, but
the
he
player.
it could
only
be
if he's right. Though.
Yeah, only
Ty,
if he's right.
Ty said 5. The correct answer was 8.
Oh, not that much more.
Quentin, yeah, that was close though. That was pretty good. All right,
So Quentin and Ethan.
so Quentin and Ethan
Yes.
just got
I
points.
feel
Good
like
job,
Hetsu
fellas.
from
Oh,
Breath
yeah,
of the
with the
With your
Wild.
little
maracas.
maracas,
With the
huh?
At the 8. I'm
I-
really interested to know.
No,
I
he doesn't,
do
and you don't get the
actually.
privilege for
I
that,
do
actually.
actually.
You don't actually get the privilege to know that
I'm sure our
information.
viewers.
Yeah. Okay. For the viewers at home, the 8 that use
One of them's
it
got to be Fantasy Star.
are 1080 Avalanche, Homeland, Juku Powerful Pro Yaku 10, Kirby Air Ride.
Definitely didn't come to say.
I definitely just said a hate crime. I'm
Yeah.
very
Yeah, I
very
was gonna say,
sorry,
that's
Japanese
an
viewers.
offensive language.
Mario Kart Double Dash, Fantasy Star Online episodes
Fantasy
1
Star.
and 2,
Mhm.
Fantasy Star Online episode
You
1 and
do
2
away.
plus
Okay, that's
Fantasy
nice.
Star Online episode 3, Card Revolution.
I think
That's right.
all the Fantasy Stars should.
I knew you were
going
gonna
to
say that, and in fact,
And you were
too,
right.
too bad,
That's
buddy boy.
still 6.
Well, that one that was Japanese only, that shouldn't count because I'm an American.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All
Okay,
right.
Ty was
Please
right.
only count
except he
ones
wasn't.
that come out here.
All right, if
No.
you recall our N64, this question's for Quentin. He's getting asked the question.
Okay.
If you recall our N64 more or less, which has never aired. This question's similar.
Okay.
Quentin, 3D models are made up of geometry
Here we go.
that
Same
are referred to as
Yep.
tries.
Mm-hmm.
In Super Mario Sunshine,
Thank
how
you.
many tries are in Mario's model?
How many tries are in Mario's model? I'm gonna say there are 1,600.
1,600.
Just as a that might be rounding up or rounding down, but I'm gonna say 1,600 is my ballpark.
All right, are you guys ready? On the count of boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both said more. You didn't split the group, so you don't get a point.
I believe it's high 20s, early 30s.
Okay. You mean
Like 20,000, 30,000.
30,000?
No, he's got 3.
He's got 3.
polys.
I thought you said 30. So I was like, what?
Triangle run.
So you guys were both in agreement that it's more. Quentin said 1,600 tries. The correct answer was 1,348 tries.
Oh, that was eerily close.
Quentin, you get a point.
I got a point.
Yeah.
He only
This-
gets one.
I get
Quentin
one
gets a point. You guys get nothing.
Oh.
Thinking that Mario
Wow,
had a
he's
bunch
really-
of tries in that game.
He's
Little
really
blocky
coming in.
I thought he was
hands.
more than he was.
All right, guys.
Man.
So that
Okay,
was
first
round
round.
1.
What is?
There are no other rounds. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Rachel, give us a point tally at the end of round 1.
I did not keep score.
Oh, of course.
All right,
Where's
Quentin's in-
Michael B?
Quentin's in the lead with 3.
Okay.
Ethan and Ty are tied for 1.
Boom. That doesn't sound right. Ethan should have.
No,
No, that is
Oh,
right.
That's
Ethan
right.
only has one.
Good job, Rachel.
I
question her.
asked you.
Don't
Specifically.
question her.
Welcome to round 2, and I should tell you guys that you should be making sure you move around the board because there's bonus stars at the end, baby. There's
No,
3 bonus stars.
Basically,
Each
no-
bonus star worth 5 points.
Of course,
So it's all that
Basically
matters.
it eliminates
No,
all
actually, I'll
competition for
decide.
this game.
Each bonus star worth 2 points. That's more fair.
Once again, that is still
That's a lot of
basically
points.
making it impossible to
Ty,
win
we're going
without
to you.
bonus
Toad
stars.
comes wondering.
Ty, we're
out
going to
here.
you. You ready?
All right.
You know how Mario plays sports?
I'm unaware.
Yeah. Did you know that there were Mario sports games on GameCube?
No.
Well, since you didn't know, how many were there?
Do you count Mario Kart as a sports game?
I do.
Okay.
You have 10 seconds.
5.
All right. Ethan and Quentin, are you ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Spot
Ethan.
on.
Oh, you split the group.
You split the group, so you
You
got it
split the
anyways.
group.
Wow.
So you get a point. Ethan said less.
Dadgum.
Quentin said spot on.
I said
Why'd you
spot
say
on.
spot on?
Because I counted them in my head and I thought that seems spot on.
Can you name them off for me real quick?
Let me see. Mario Kart Double Dash.
Right.
Mario Kart Soccer. What is that called? Super
Mario
Strikers?
Kart Soccer.
It's Mario Kart Soccer. Mario
Think about that
Strikers.
one.
Mario Strikers.
Strikers, okay.
Mario Tennis.
Okay.
Mario
Power tennis.
Mario Golf.
Okay.
And then oh man.
That's all I could
no,
count.
I literally thought of one just a second ago and I'm blanking. It's gone completely out of my head. I
So
thought
maybe there was only 4.
No,
I'm
it
pretty
may have
sure
been-
Mario Hoops was on the GameCube.
that was on the DS. No,
Ty's made a critical
why-
error.
no, I
already
did.
got
Okay, so
I could've
Ty
swore it.
said 5. Ethan said less. Quentin said spot on. The correct answer is 5.
Hey, what?
So does he get another point?
So no, Ty and Quentin both get 1 point.
that was
Wait, Quentin
was
gets a
good.
point?
yeah,
Yeah, because he was
I-
right.
spot on.
He said
Yeah.
spot on.
I do
what
not
was-
understand
What was
scoring here.
what was the
missing
You were
one?
missing
What was-
Mario Sluggers Baseball.
Oh,
That's the only one you
that's
were
not
missing.
real.
Yeah.
That was impressive, though. You got the rest of them, though. I'm so impressed by you that you get to go again.
Wow, that's
You
really
ready to
nice.
go?
I'm really excited about
Did
that.
you know that that the GameCube had 4 Mario parties on it?
Four
4
different Mario parties? You're
Mario
not
Party
lying
I would have
and-
Four-
guessed 500.
You're not
Mario
lying
Party
and tricking me?
4, 5, 6, and 7 were all on the GameCube.
Wow, I've actually played all of those games.
So with that in mind, if you tallied up all the mini games in those games, how many mini games can you play on the GameCube in Mario Party?
do repeats count?
Yes.
Okay.
You got 10 seconds.
90.
90.
Again, ballpark.
Okay.
That could be a rounding up or down.
You guys
but
ready?
I'm gonna say 90.
Yep.
You guys ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both said more.
I didn't split the group.
You didn't split the group. Ty, why do you think there's more than 90?
I think there's more than 30 on average per game.
Okay.
I think there's about 40 per game.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
40 per game, 4 games.
If we're counting
Okay,
repeats,
gotcha,
because
yeah,
the
sure.
ball game is in everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't
sure,
repeat.
sure.
Yeah,
I remember
yep.
one of them having way more.
Yeah.
Like so many that like when I went to the screen to see
was
them all, I said
unmanageable.
no and I turned it off.
So we're not doing that.
That's
yeah.
what you do with every
Okay,
Mario
so Quentin
party.
said 90. Ethan and Ty both think that it's more. Let's find out. The correct answer, if you take all the mini games from those 4 Mario parties on GameCube, you get 307.
Oh my goodness.
There was I believe it was Mario
90
Party
per
7
game?
had
Oh my
90
God.
games in it.
I-
Incredible.
that
I
is
here's the funny
unbelievable.
thing. When I
Yeah,
was
it's incredible.
calculating it up,
It's
I
appalling.
started by calculating it as 90 for each of them. I was like, it's about 90.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
And then when
So-
Quentin said
Insane.
30 apiece, I was like, well, maybe it's just 40.
Yeah.
Mm,
307.
That's-
Isn't
that is
crazy?
really
So
crazy.
Ty and
Wow.
Ethan get a point. No
Alright.
point for Quentin. Bad.
It's all
Quentin.
right. It's all right.
All right,
were,
Ethan.
were
should
you
have been better.
serious that
Okay.
those counted? This round counts as double, or is that
No.
just,
No.
okay.
Did I say
No.
that?
No,
you
I don't.
said that the bonus stars.
Yeah,
were
you
gonna
said
start.
Oh no,
bonus
bonus,
stars.
bonus stars will be allotted at
They'll
the
be
end
at
of
the
the
end of the
game.
game.
And they
Yeah.
will be completely arbitrary based on whatever Devin's feeling.
No.
Whoever he wants to win, he'll give
Just
bonus
like
stars
Mario
to.
Party.
It's just like Mario Party.
Literally, the Toad comes out here and goes, wow, it's the third brother star. Here you go.
They're all for me.
Oh my god, it's the name starts with a D star. I wonder who it's going to go to. And then he hands you.
Please.
Control
all right,
yourself.
Ethan.
Take only
we
what you
all
need.
we all know we all know the GameCube has the best controller design of all time.
We know that.
Undoubtedly.
We know it.
But Nintendo also agreed because over the years, since 2001, they just keep making it over and over again. So with that in mind, over all these years, these now 23 years, because time is coming for us all and the Reaper is right on our door,
Yep.
how many variants, official variants of the GameCube controller exist?
Okay, wait a second. Before we start my timer here, when you
Okay.
say variants, do you mean different models or do you mean like different editions, like a Zelda edition or
Like
I would say
recolors and
all
things
of
like
the
that.
above. If it's a different color, if it has a different design on it, anything. Nintendo
Oh.
released, you can buy a box and it will not be the same box as the others. Does that make sense?
yes?
Okay.
I'm
Timer starts
gonna
now.
say it's at probably around 40.
40. Okay. All right, Ty and Quinn, you guys ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. You both said less. You didn't split the group. Quinn, explain why you think it's less than 40.
Because if it was more than 40, I'd shed a tear.
It can't be more than 40.
I would
can it?
literally weep if
Mm.
they
Now,
because
on
let
the
me
flip
tell you,
side, if you said, are there more than 40 Pro Controller Joy-Con edition colors? I'd say, yeah,
That's closer.
absolutely.
I should
Is-
say I'm also counting just random Etsy ones.
I
oh,
hate
of course, then yeah. Because here's the
Official
thing:
Etsy.
if it's in excess of 40 variants,
And there are still
Yeah.
starving children in
and
Chi-
there are
in-
and there
in
are starving
Africa.
children in Africa, I would shed a single tear to hear this. So I got to get my tear
Just
ducts
on
ready.
More. All right, so Ethan said that there were, to the answer of GameCube controller variants, he said there was 40. Ty and Quentin think that there's less. The correct answer? 27. Good
Well,
job, guys.
Faith restored.
I was gonna
Ty
say,
and Quentin get a point.
capitalism.
I don't have to get the tear ducts rolling.
You don't have to. All right,
But
guys.
you should.
That's the end of round 2. Good job. Rachel, what's our point read off?
Okay, so hang on.
You got this.
All right, Quentin's in the lead with 5.
Whoa.
Ty's at a close second with 4.
Oh,
Ethan trailing with 2.
with 2. All right. You guys ready for round 3?
I'm ready. And remember,
Final round.
remember to the viewers at home, none of those points matter because of the bonus stars.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll get all the bonus stars. You don't know. And then the points won't matter.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right,
and the
we're
point-
going
yeah.
down to Ethan starting off. Ethan, there's a character that you've always been happy with in the Super Smash Brothers series. You've always loved him. You've always thought that he's very well represented and that he's a perfect example of his real self in the video games. I am, of course, talking about Ganondorf,
I know.
who was added to Super Smash Brothers Melee. Did you know that each Smash Brothers character has a numeric value assigned to them based on when they entered the Smash series?
No. I did not.
Ultimate revealed that. It
Huh.
numbers each character.
Mhm.
So, What number is Ganondorf in the Smash Brothers roster? You have 10 seconds.
Ganondorf is number
Dig deep.
19,
19.
I think.
All right. Ethan's answer is 19. Ty and Quentin on boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. What'd you say,
We
Quentin?
both said more.
They both said more. You didn't split the group.
I think Ganondorf was one of the last characters added to Melee. The original game, of course, has 12 characters, and Melee added more than the base roster, so I think he would be
Melee
higher.
has 19. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, there's no way that's true.
Ty got really scared for a second. He was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was thinking he was probably closer to 21.
21.
If I am
Okay.
off
I
by
think
4, if I'm exactly off by 4, it's tragedy. I forgot there were secret characters. I thought there were 8 characters in the Smash Bros. Yeah. I was like,
all right,
8 for
so,
the original, and then-
Hey, but
the
you might-
question,
you might
which
get- you
what's
might
the
get it.
number? Which number fighter is Ganondorf in Smash Brothers? Ethan said 19. Tiny and Quentin said more. It was 4 more, 23.
No.
How did you know that?
No.
I know how many characters are in Melee, get added in Melee, and I was like, oh yeah, it's the amount of characters in Melee added to the 8 originals. And then I forgot it's 8 originals and 4 secrets.
Yeah,
Man, we need to just
23.
we need to just cut to the
That
funeral
sucks.
scene from Metal Gear Solid 5,
Yeah.
him spreading the ashes, and that's really what we're doing for Ethan right now.
Rachel, Quentin, and Ty just
Oh
got
my
a point.
Gosh, I feel bad.
When you
about
said that, when you
man.
said the 4
I
thing,
feel
I was
bad.
like,
that
oh
was really,
man.
that was depressing.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't feel good about that.
Going on to
But I'm
Ty.
taking it.
I'm taking it.
Ty.
Never give up a point.
Reminiscent to one of round one's questions, but I don't want to seem like just a Mario boy because I like other video games. And Mario Kart. No, I'm just kidding. In The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, how many tries is Link's model made up of in that game? You have 10 seconds.
I am going to say
Mhm.
Link's model is shockingly
Mhm.
only 900 tries.
900 tries. All right. Quentin and Ethan, you guys ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. You
So
both
more.
said more. You didn't split the group, Ty. Ethan?
Can't be more than Mario from Mario Sunshine.
It is not, but Mario Sunshine was 1,300, and I'm going to say that it is 950.
Oh, just a little bit
thinks it's- he
more.
thinks
Do
I
you
was
think it's a
close,
little
but
bit more, or
two.
do you think it's a lot?
I think it's just a little bit more.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I can't. I got to take risks.
You're probably
Yeah.
right.
I got to take risks
9
here.
is insanely low.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that it is quite a bit lower than
I
Mario,
seem
but
to recall that on the GameCube, to create rounded surfaces, they did have to use a lot of tries.
Oh.
We now
Head is
don't.
round.
We now
Mm,
don't.
okay,
It's
maybe,
like modern
yeah.
Blender, you can remove a bunch of the tries, and when you go to render it, it will still be round if you've told it to be round.
Hmm.
But like in a lot of
Interesting.
older rendering software, to get a round-looking object,
You had to use more. So you think it's a lot more than 900?
I don't think it's a lot more. I think it's
Okay.
just more.
All right, so to the question of how many tries are in Wind Waker Link's model, Ty answered 900. Both boys said more. The correct answer was 2,754 tries.
Holy
He's a
moly.
round boy.
Yeah, it's round.
He's a round boy.
I'm shocked.
That's
insane.
crazy.
I should have known it
Glad
would
I-
have a lot of tries because it's Zelda.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot
right,
of
'cause of the
try
triangle
force,
theme, right.
yeah.
All right,
Big
that's-
thanks to the series Low Poly for telling
They
us.
didn't even need that
Wow.
many
That is
tries.
really
That-
nice.
A
All
lot
right.
of them are
Well, that's,
wasted.
well, that's wait. I got me
that's-
and Ethan
Oh, yeah.
got points.
So
Ethan.
So you
Ethan
write
and
that
Quentin
down.
got points.
All right, here we go.
Last question for Quentin. Quentin, this is a question I saved for last because it's near and dear to all of our hearts. One of our favorite features of the GameCube that we took advantage of. Went to Florida.
What was the
Oh,
theme
did
of the
this.
GameCube of this episode, by the way?
GameCube.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's why
All right.
Ty's losing. We played with this all the time. You were real annoying with your little uke standing
I
over
know
in the
exactly
corner.
What you're talking about?
The GameCube had Game Boy Link cables where you could use the Game Boy as a controller. You could play games.
File
you could
your
download
taxes.
games to the
Yep.
RAM. Yeah.
Go fishing, all that.
How many games on the GameCube used the Game Boy Link cable? Our favorite feature.
10
seconds.
There were 12.
12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you boys ready? On boom. 3, 2, 1, boom. They both. You didn't split the group.
I didn't split the group.
We have been
almost-
very unified this
Yeah.
whole
Very
Only
unified.
time.
one.
I really wanted to say less.
I
You really
actually
wanted to
think
say
he's
less?
extremely
I think he's
close,
so close.
except you said utilize the link feature.
Yes.
There were a ton of games where you just like unlock some pictures.
Yeah, that uses
Yeah.
the link cable.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's not, doesn't have to be a controller.
that's a good point. I should have.
Waker used
I
it.
should have thought of that. I thought of Wind Waker, but
still, I almost went lower because that's so close.
Yeah.
Okay,
In my
so
mind, it's like
to the
15.
question of how many GameCube games use the Game Boy link cable, Quentin said 12. Both of these guys think that it was more. The correct answer? 68.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
68.
That's a lot.
Well, Ethan and
I
Ty get
don't.
the point.
I think I was gonna get the list
Did
for
they all
it.
come out in the Nintendo's burgeoning Madagascar market?
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
where were these games?
Where were these games?
All
Okay,
right, so at the
wow.
end of the final round, Rachel, give us that point tally. Ethan and Ty just got a point.
Yep.
for
Yeah,
that.
sure.
All right, give us
Um,
that point tally.
Okay, Quentin has 7, still in the lead. Ty, a very close 6. Ethan at a 4.
Ethan at a 4.
And
All
now-
right, are you guys
I want
ready?
Delicious
to be-
bonus stars.
And to be clear, the bonus stars are all that matters because
all that
if they're
matters.
awarded to any of these people, it'll tip the scales immediately.
Give
All
me
right,
the
you guys
bonus
ready?
stars.
Let's
The
hear
first
the
bonus
stars.
star is the how'd you do that bonus star, and it goes to Ethan.
Ethan.
How'd you do that? How'd you know that you were 4 off with your Ganondorf? When he said that, it's witchcraft.
Yeah, like I said, I have this meme in my brain of the 8 originals because when we talk about Smash Bros, we talk about the 8 originals.
Yeah.
But it's 8 originals and 4 secrets. So
Right.
I was counting it up as the Melee cast as well, and I was like, well, okay, I think it ends up here, and I just need to add the 8 originals, and that's why it took me just a second. I was like, I think should be 11 new characters, and then you
Yeah.
have the 8 originals, and you didn't quite double the cast, or it would, comes up to doubling the cast, right?
Right.
And then it just a
Click.
second after you
That
started
was
talking about it, I
impressive.
was like, 8 originals, 4 secrets. Why did I do this to myself?
That was good.
We don't talk about
Man,
that
that
with
was
any
good.
of the
In a
other.
weird
yeah.
way, you got points for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of did.
You
Actually,
got the
2
bonus star
points,
for it. Yeah.
You kind of
There
did.
you go.
If you just gotten that question right, you only would have walked away with 1 point.
The next bonus star is the Believer in a Better World bonus star. This star goes to the player who believes in a much brighter and more magical world. A world where there's not just 27 variants of the GameCube controller. There's 40, and we're better off for it. It goes to Ethan.
Hey,
He's got another one.
cool.
Puts him at 8
I
points.
I want to say I really thought that not only are there like more like Pikachu and like,
We all wish
Metroid
there
ones
were.
hopefully out there, but I also thought like, well, they made some for like smaller.
Smash.
Yeah.
and big
I actually have a
had
picture
one.
of someone from Reddit who owns all of them. So here it is.
Terrific.
All 27.
I would just like to add that Devin said that it was a more hopeful world, while me and Ty, when we heard 40, it sounded like a Werner Herzog documentary about animal torture.
horrifying.
Like,
You guys ready for the final bonus star? This will make or break the game because now we've got
It's the Werner
8,
Herzog
6, 7.
star.
it was about the Werner Herzog. The GameCube released more than 40 variants of their controller while a child outside the factory starved. Right.
All right, so the final bonus star. Do you know what it is? It's called the Spot On star for the player who was spot on, and that is Ty and Quentin.
Oh
You were
my
both
god,
spot on.
we both were spot on about
They
that
knew
5.
5 Mario sports games. You both get a bonus star, which means you both
That's my
get 2
question.
points.
Okay. So that means
Too bad.
Quentin comes out to 9 total. Ethan comes out to 8 total. Ty comes out to 8 total.
Quentin wins!
All right, I
Yay!
won. I really won.
Good
You
job,
really
man.
were a video
Good
game
job.
player.
I really
Yeah.
am
You
the
won.
video game
Superstar.
expert. I'm the
Yep.
superstar. I am the
Clearly.
video game expert. I am going to go and fight Bowser and shoot him with my cowboy gun.
There you go. Good game, guys. Good game. Hope you had fun.
Do I get a prize?
Hope you guys played it at home. If you let me know what the next more or less should be. Give me an idea. I'm out of ideas. I did N64, I did Nintendo Switch, and I did GameCube.
Yeah.
What else am I supposed to do?
Nintendo doesn't have any more consoles.
There's no
What
more
else am I
consoles.
supposed to do?
Wii U might be one.
But there's no way to prove that.
that.
Well,
way
listen,
to prove it.
I didn't win a prize because Devin is a cheapskate. However,
No, you did. You got Sonic.
Oh, I
Actually,
get
no,
Sonic.
this is for my gamer shelf. You can't have it, actually.
They give him
Sorry.
a can.
I'm-
give him a folder.
Oh, you got a
Yeah.
polar. Go get your polar.
I may not get a prize, but the real prize is you subscribing to Patreon.
Thank you,
so
guys.
that-
It doesn't exist yet.
So that there will be money flowing
Guys,
into this
if-
podcast.
If you're still here, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being at the first
I don't know what you're
official
doing here.
podcast recording in the new
Yeah.
space.
I
Thank
love
you for
it.
being here.
I love it.
Beautiful set.
And by the way, guys,
Actually-
in lieu of Patreon, if you know us in real life, you can just give us the money.
That is true. You could just give us
Yeah.
money.
Just give us money, family and friends.
I'm gonna
Go
say.
tell the government.
I'm gonna say
Don't tell
per
the government.
usual. No, thank you for being here. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Go out.
If you guys are still here,
Go
leave
out.
leave an emoji
Quit.
of a robot and give him a Rob related
Get-
name. Give him a Rob related. I'm gonna close out this
Don't-
podcast by
no,
saying we don't talk about Star Fox enough, guys.
No, don't.
look
don't
at
do-
this.
Don't
Look at this right here.
That's not a Star
No.
Fox.
Zoom,
That's not a
zoom.
Star Fox story. That's from
People,
Starlink
please,
Battle for Atlas.
listen.
I don't like that you're
People,
right,
people,
but you
don't,
are right.
Don't put an emoji. Go kiss a cute boy or something. Go
Don't
for a
do that
drive.
either. No,
in
emojis
movie.
only.
Oh God, they're
Guys,
still
big thanks
They're still watching the
lovely
podcast.
Rachel
Big
for
thanks
being
to
here.
Rachel.
Thank
A lot of
you.
fun being here.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you for filling in.
Guys, thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Send help and money and
Bye.
supplies and medicine.